Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
We will see you guys back here real soon.
To hear this, but let me put this out here. Stop sparing folks. Hello, somebody. Stop sparing folks. Nobody cared when your feelings was hurt. Nobody cared when you was pacing the floor. Nobody cared when you was sliding down the wall. Nobody cared when you was standing over there with a face full of tears. You had to suck it up, buttercup. But then when it come to other folk feelings, here you are. Want to tiptoe around it. Want to avoid the elephant in the room. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to disturb the peace. Stop sparing folk. Ain't nobody spare you when it was your turn. Give it to them real. Give it to them raw. Give it to them uncut and uncensored. This is exactly what it is. This way you had me messed up at. Huh. Yeah. I ain't playing with nobody this season, baby.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day. Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube and Twitter. It's entirely too early on Sunday morning to be up. Why am I coming live? I never go live on Sunday. Why in the world am I going live this darn early on Sunday? Well, it's because we've been covering a case that's keeping me up at night, right? We're covering a case that's keeping me up at night. Good morning, everyone. I know people are getting crust out of their eyes this morning and probably looking in their notifications like, what's Betty doing up? What's she doing live on a Sunday morning? I don't know why I'm live on a Sunday morning. Actually, it's to kick you guys into shape because I know if you guys come over here to hang out with Bullhorn Betty, you just might make it to church today. We have church today. It's starting 15 minutes early. And as soon as we wrap up here, guess what? We're going over there. So I figured, it starts at 9:20. That gives me 3 full hours to talk your ears off. And then we're going to go praise God. How do you like that? How do you like them apples, right? How do you like them apples? That's what the big plan's going to be for today as we move in. And of course, I do have my handy dandy buttons. So we're going to whip it into shape. I'm playing with them. You guys are going to kill me. We're going to have so many darn things and buttons being pushed on the Bullhorn Betty True Crime Channel. Crime Stories. It's going to change. The name's going to change. We hit our 4,000 hours. I'm just waiting for the backside to catch up. And this will be a monetized account. So, the silver lining again is the fact that we've been working on monetizing this account, and we just say we're going to do it and never come over here to do it, right? And so with this situation, you never let a terrible situation go to waste, right? So we utilize this terrible situation to empower us even further, because that's what we do here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. When you're faced with an obstacle, when you're faced with challenging issues, when you're faced with just pure evil, right? When you're faced with just pure evil, you have to navigate that. You have to navigate it. And I think that, we don't get into it. We don't even have, look at this. We didn't even have to fight or brawl or anything. And we're just awesome. We're just awesome. We pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We keep going. Nothing keeps us down. Some people are probably spitting nails, right? But we ain't. We're not. So let's go ahead. We're going to give a little moment to, got to get the stronger reading glasses on. Don't mind me. I'm just getting old over here. I'm getting blind. Words are running together on the sheet, if you know what I mean. I woke up one day. For those that are new here, I'm Bullhorn Betty, okay? I'm 44 years old. I'm old as dirt. For all those older ladies, those beautiful younger ladies out there, older youngers, don't beat me for that, okay? I realize that we all, but I wake up one morning and I'm blind. I'm literally blind. I wake up one morning. I heard that kind of stuff happens. Never believed it would happen to me. Woke up one day, had perfect vision, could read a book, could read my phone, and boom, 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 went to the doctor, couldn't see, put glasses on me. Now I really can't see. Like, I'm now dependent on glasses. If I never started with the glasses, I probably wouldn't be dependent on the glasses, but the glasses are now on the face. So I'm stuck. That's how it works. Don't go to the eye doctor, okay? You can see just fine. Do I have any laughs on here? Oh, here. We're going to be doing the language of letting go, but we want to set the tone. Okay. We're going to bring it in with the breaking news. So in the language of letting go book, we are going to be discussing December 10th. Become amazed at what you see, right? Become amazed at what you see. We were on a trip through the Southwest when I turned around a bend in New Mexico. Lake, okay, I'm not getting these lakes, okay? If I'm not raised in the county and you guys got these weird names, I'm not getting it corrected. They need to put a something in here to help us. Albuquerque? I don't know what it is. Okay, let's get back. The bend in Mexico, the sign said, The campground was seated on a bluff overlooking a large man-made lake. We decided it was so beautiful we'd camp there for the night. We selected just the right spot to give us the best view of the sun rising in the morning. We just hit the red rock cliffs in the distance. Hiking around the edge of the bluff, we found a tiny cactus bursting with bright red flowers sitting in the shade of a windblown tree. We sat for a while, then scrambled down to the water and sat on a big rock and jumped into the lake. We swam. The water was cold but refreshing, and the early summer sun felt good on our skin. Later, we cooked supper on our little gas stove. We should have set up the tent. I said eagerly, I see the new tent is set up in the wilderness. The weather is nice, my friend said. Let's just throw our bags on the ground and we'll sleep out here. That was an idea. I had never slept under the stars before. We laid there in the gathering darkness and watched as one by one the stars softly glow into the view. I closed my eyes and dozed. Moments later, birds sang a goodnight song from a nearby tree, and I opened my eyes to see a blanket of stars overhead. The Milky Way cut a path through the night sky, and there were so many unfamiliar stars that I couldn't hardly distinguish the constellation I knew. I didn't want to close my eyes. I didn't want to miss the moment of this incredible sight. Camping in the state park may not count to some of the hardcore wilderness folks, but we each have our different levels of freedoms in our lives. Freedoms mean tasting new things, having new experience, pursuing our dreams no matter how small they might be, recapturing the magic of a time in our life when everything was new and amazing. Discover what's possible for you. Then be amazed at what you see. God, give me the sense of possible in my life, and then help me be amazed at just how beautiful life can be. I don't know who needed to hear that. I stumbled on a few words, progress, not perfection. But what a beautiful little snippet, right? I think what I get out of it is that sometimes we get into the hustle and bustle of the grind, and we forget to sit back and drink up, all of the stuff that we've accomplished. And I think sometimes we need to stop and take a look at our life and see the beauty in our life instead of, have a life of attitude with gratitude, right? So I think that that's really what it was saying. But, again, I don't know what it meant for you, but that's what it meant for me. What else do I have here? I know I got something. Oh, we got the right answer. So here we go. I love pushing buttons. I'm sorry. I just do. You guys are coming to the new Bullhorn Betty channel where we just push buttons. We're pushing back, right? Good morning. I am Team Summer. It's nice to see you. Bullhorn Betty is in the chat. Grandmammy Annie, it is nice to see you. Our beautiful resident defense attorney is saying we're up early. You're right, Mike. We're up early. Okay. It's Sunday morning. I never run a show on Sunday morning, and I wanted to see how many bedhead Bettys we had out there. Apparently this morning we have 36. That is going to increase as people start getting the crust out of their eyes, right? That's going to. Alabama Mama 4, it is nice to see you over here. It's nice to see you over here. TL, good morning. Wow, that was a pathetic morning, but that's okay. You know what? People don't realize we're still live over here, and so I'm still posting on the other accounts. So they're coming over here. They're just watching replay. For the folks that are hitting on the main channel's link, I just want you to notice this is a different channel. I know you're watching the video, but this is a different channel, so you're going to have to sub up, okay? So if you're over here and you see me right now and I'm saying, hey, you need to sub up, then we're probably not on my original channel. We're on the backup. So don't forget to sub up if you're getting this. Don't forget to select all your notifications to be sent to all. We're right now covering a case of Crystal Rogers. This is a case that we started covering A couple months ago. This is an old case that is coming from Bardstown, Kentucky. It's a case that generated from 2015 of a girl that disappeared over the July 4th weekend. Since then, this case has kind of died down. It went cold. And then, when we started covering, which is right about September-ish, because it was right when Joseph Lawson was arrested, because this case had been dormant. It had been cold. And then, boom, we start getting arrests in the case almost a decade later. So as we're starting, there's a lot of people that have been involved in this case at the beginning. Our channel has not. Okay, we started getting involved in this case literally 2 months ago, and after Brooks Houck was arrested, we kind of left it there and we moved on. I didn't realize there were so many twists and turns. Well, I kind of was realizing there was a lot of twists and turns in it at the time. But I really didn't realize that this really has a lot of the hallmarks, and I said it yesterday several times, like an Alec Murdaugh type of case. It's a very complex case with a lot of moving parts, and it sounds like multiple different crimes. So in order for us to really understand what brings us here, and this is where I kind of didn't realize until yesterday, is this starts with really this officer being gunned down, this officer being ambushed in 2013. His name is Jason Ellis. So we started looking under the hood yesterday afternoon related to Jason Ellis to find out, what the story and the backdrop is, because yes, he works. This is a small community of 12 to 13,000 people. Okay. So you're talking about an ultra small community. Not Moab small. Moab's 6,000 or less, right? But it's double Moab. It's a small community, 13,000 or less people, residents in the community, and they've got this problem. They've got a 2013 unsolved homicide with Jason Ellis. They've got the 2015 homicide with Crystal Rogers, and then they got the 2016 homicide with her father, Tommy Ballard. So as you can see, there's these three cases in this small town of nothing. So to not think that those are connected is, I guess, foolish. They would almost have to be. But, crime goes on in towns, whether they're associated or not. But you have to go back to this 2013 case with this Jason Ellis officer. We still are kind of diving into this. We still haven't made the connection, other than he did work with Nick Houck. He worked on the same shift as Nick Houck at the time of his death. It sounds like, based upon the interview we watched yesterday of Nick Houck completely being absolutely as uncooperative as possible with the detectives on the case while he's on administrative leave, and he wears the badge prior to his administrative leave, right? He's an officer. And he's conducting himself in this unlawful, illegal manner. It was hard to watch. It was literally hard to watch. But this Jason Ellis case is obviously tied into this case somehow. So we went back, because we were just focusing on Joseph Lawson and Brooks Houck. Okay, that's it. And then now we're starting to look at the culpability, because we watched Nick Houck. Nick Houck is Brooks' brother. He was an officer at the Bardstown Police Department. He was he was recently fired after the events. He was fired for obstruction, for other meddling into this case. The chief of police, according to the interview, actually went to his house to collect his car so they could do forensic evidence on it. We learned, even though we heard that Brooks did not pass his lie detector test during this interrogation of Nick, we learned that his was inconclusive. What does that mean? I don't know. Were they lying? I don't know. I'm just saying what was in the interrogation. Has that been corrected? And do we know whether Brooks lied and failed? I can't say that, because I heard two officers on 3 different occasions yesterday in that interview talk about Brooks' polygraph test and say it was inconclusive. So we know that in that interrogation, they really worked hard to solidify that Nick would take the polygraph. Well, one of our subscribers here actually sent me his interrogation or interview with law enforcement after he took that polygraph test. So we're going to have an opportunity to watch that. But before we get started, I did work hard on this video. I know it's kind of getting run out. I'll try to update it and get some more information. I've got to do a couple more clips. And I'm just going to add to this video. In this video, I'm just going to keep adding clips to this video until we have a full-fledged movie, basically explaining this entire case. So I've taken several different clips, several different stuff. I'm linking them together and making a production. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so this is 2 of those clips. We're going to start incorporating Jason Ellis into these here, and we're going to be working backwards. So without further ado, this is just to bring anybody that's not familiar with the Crystal Rogers case up to snuff. And then we're going to move on to giving you a Reader's Digest version of the Jason Ellis connection to this. And we're going to move into Nick Houck. I believe that there's something here. It's either drug related. Like, I feel like it's organized crime. I shouldn't even say drug related, because I really want to encompass a lot more than drugs. Organized crime related or love related. I really truly believe that that is what got Jason Ellis killed. Now, if I apply the fact that I think he has great integrity, him and his wife appear to not have any marital problems, and it doesn't appear that he would go out on his wife, like have an affair on his wife. That eliminates almost that love aspect of this. So it's leaving it to organized crime. And I know I've said multiple times, and I was joking around, that his mother looks evil. She looks like a mafia ma, you know, and then we start hearing about some of Brooks' assets. So I'm joking around about her being a mafia mom, but I'm kind of not right now. I'm kind of saying there's something fishy going on with this family. Is it organized crime? Like, I'm starting to feel like there's a hint of organized crime, whether it's drug industry, money laundering, something. I feel like there's something here. And I think that that's what's connecting Jason Ellis' case to the house. But again, this is all theory. This is all speculation. The facts of the case is he was gunned down, but we'll get to that. So let me go ahead and play this video to catch you guys all up to speed. Anybody that's come in since I said good morning that I have not said good morning to you, I just want to say good morning. Even the people that don't like me, that are spying on me, I want you to have a good morning. It's time for the holidays. We've got 15 days before Christmas. So I really do hope everybody has a good Christmas. I'm obviously without a paycheck for 2 weeks. I'm going to be taking the gifts to the church, and I'm going to go to their spectacular, whatever that, the show is. We don't, but as far as me being able to have the Christmas that I wanted this year, I just want to make sure that everybody knows, due to the animals on YouTube and this petty BS, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm sure that's going to make them very, very happy to hear that. But damn, I'm just saying, it's the holidays, and I work very hard all year to help other people, and they shit on me. I have never struck anybody's channel. I've never caused them any financial harm. And they literally are enjoying this from me. And I just think that's wholly sad and disgusting. And anybody that participates in that, that's how I feel about you as well. So take that for what you will. This was absolutely horrific and absolutely uncalled for. And don't worry, I have a funny feeling that video is about to be popping up on about 50 different channels. So I don't understand how taking my channel affected that. So Kiara, I hope you're ready to fill out a lot of forms, because I'm just hearing from the back chat. It has nothing to do with me, honey. But if you wanted to keep that a secret, doesn't sound like it's about to be kept a secret. Sounds like it's about to be blasted all over the streets of social media, not just YouTube. And it's not going to be coming from any of my accounts. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But good luck. Good luck. I hope they can help you with the 50 and 100 counterclaims or copyright notifications. But good luck with you. Good luck with you.
Crystal Rogers is a mother of 5 beautiful kids that went missing on the July 4th weekend in 2015. Her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, came under heavy scrutiny about her disappearance back in 2000.
You know what? We can't even talk about Crystal Houck. Let me go ahead because this right here is Emmy Moore, probably that crazy teacher. Let's get back to this. So I'm bullying a teacher. That's what you think, that I'm bullying a teacher that has attacked me, right? That is obsessed with me, that won't leave me alone, that won't leave me out of her mouth. I don't say shit about anybody. What do you mean me bullying her? It's if you go to her channel, let's correct this misinformation on my channel. I guarantee you go to any channel I have, you do not have me, any content creators on my thumbnail, definitely not speaking to them in disparaging remarks whatsoever. I don't even allow my audience to speak about other creators in disparaging remarks. But you're saying I'm bullying a teacher that won't leave me alone? I'm not the one going after her. You understand that, right? She's coming after me publicly. And you're trying to say that I have no right to defend myself or to take corrective action. I think you're absolutely wrong. I think you're on the wrong side of this. And I don't know what people are putting in your head that makes you think that somebody can attack me nonstop for months and not have any repercussions from that. What idiot do you think I am? And what idiot are these people? They're playing some real sick game with you guys as emotions, trying to play victim. How are they the victim? I'm not attacking them, dum-dum. Have you not realized that I'm not the one creating this? Have you not? Can you take off your blinders here and see? I'm not doing this to these people. The proof is in the fucking pudding. Go to all my channels. Mark, Emmy. Who am I attacking? Who am I bullying? I'd like you to provide me receipts, please. Because a lot of people call me a bully on here when I don't bully a damn person, don't even talk to them, and try to stick to these cases, which I can't because I got idiots like you coming into my chat. So please tell me how I have bullied this idiotic, obsessive teacher that won't leave me alone, that clearly has mental problems. And how can I say that? Because she really will not leave me alone. She is so obsessed that she keeps coming in here even after I have asked her multiple times to leave me alone. What would you like me to do? Mark Hall, Emmy Moore, what would you like me to do? I would like an answer. Because I'm doing everything I can to protect myself from these animals. And if you don't like it, maybe you need to be over on their channels telling them to stop it. Because I'm getting sick and tired of you coming here saying I'm the bully when I'm covering true crime cases and staying out of the fucking drama. I will absolutely go to her school if she doesn't leave me alone. She is harassing me. Or do you forget that? Are you saying that you don't think I have a right to exercise every lawful tool at my disposal when I'm being bullied online? Do you honestly think I do not have a right to put an end to this going on in my life? I will use any and all means necessary to get this shit to stop. If you do not like it, stay out of me. Stay away from me. Stay out of my business. And move on with your fucking lives. Like it's 15 days to Christmas. And today's a church day, and you've got me saying cuss words on a Sunday because you're too much of an idiot to realize there wouldn't be no problem if you guys didn't start no problems. But if you think I'm going to be that kind of woman that's just going to keep sitting here and taking this day after day, you've got it wrong. I will make sure every single person is fired from their job. I will expose every person on here, and I will make sure that every boss knows the kind of shenanigans that their employees are doing behind the scenes. So if you don't want that attention for yourself, my suggestion would be to leave me alone. You know I will do it. You know I have threatened it. You know I will have no problem exercising it. You know I do not have a problem getting in a car and going to a location and being on public property with a bullhorn. You know I will do that. So why do you keep stepping in the shit and then acting like you're a victim when I finally exercise those rights after you know what the result would be? So if you know the result will be me calling your work or me exposing your name or me showing up with a bullhorn, why would you put me to that point where I have to exercise those? But don't think they are the victim, because if you go to any one of these channels, they are littered with awful things about me that are completely, absolutely untrue. And then you come over here and you see real content about these cases. And then you go over there and all they do is bully, 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 bully. And good God, let me say one thing about me being bullied and they're the victim. Cut it out. That is some delusional, messed up brain problem shit if I've ever heard it. Pull your head out of your ass. Now that I'm done correcting that, because like I said, I'm done keeping silent. You guys are fucking idiots if you believe that I'm the problem at this point. You are deluded. They tried to have me hurt myself or do something outlandish for a click and a view for their content. That to me is sick. And anybody that supports any type of channel that does that to another human being, you are twisted and demented. And I will expose that. Bet your ass on that. Cry me a river, build me a bridge. If you don't want me in your shit, stay out of mine. That's the answer. Now, we're going to get back to the case that actually deserves some attention. I know you drama queens out there love drama. You don't give a shit about nobody else. All you care about is your pocketbook, your clicks, your views. We actually care about these families. So if you're not here to advocate for a family, we don't want you here. I shouldn't have to block you. Just leave. Just leave. Okay? People are laughing. We got 51 people in our chat when we've had a couple hundred, right? It's no big deal because we're still meeting the same fucking numbers, right? But they don't want to tell you that. They want to twist you around and make you think, oh my God, I'm on a new platform and we got 51 people. Like people have been on here for freaking 5 years that can't even get 51 people in their chat after 5 years. And here we are 1 week on this channel and we've got hundreds and thousands of views. We've already had over 10,000 views this week alone. Cut it out. The delusion that nobody likes me is over. It's over. You know why? Because this is what you guys are going to have to just deal with, and maybe you don't like it. But I'm Bullhorn Betty. And you'll never beat me. So suck it up. Suck it up. Now we're going to get back to our cases. We're done.
Crystal Rogers is a mother of 5 beautiful kids that went missing on the July 4th weekend in 2015. Her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, came under heavy scrutiny about her disappearance back in 2015, but for whatever reason, the case went cold. Well, this particular case just heated up most recently in September with the very first arrest of a gentleman by the name of Joseph Lawson. This is an employee of Brooks Houck. Brooks Houck was later arrested after Joseph Lawson, and the case kind of died out. There was some major shocks in the case when the state prosecutor, Brooks Houck's bail hearing, tells the judge that his brother, Nick, might have been the one that shot Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard. If you're unfamiliar with this case, Crystal is a beautiful young lady that disappeared in 2015, and her father went out looking for her and searching and was probably finding evidence about what happened to his daughter. Well, during a hunting, what many thought was a hunting accident on Tommy Ballard's property, he was shot to death. And apparently during this bail hearing for Brooks Houck, it was alleged that his brother, Nick, may have killed Crystal's father.
Today in court, prosecutors said they believe they have the gun used to kill Tommy Ballard now, connecting the investigation with the death of his daughter, Crystal Rogers.
Waiting for testing to come back on the firearm we believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard, a firearm that we purchased from Nick Houck, who was using a fake name when he sold the rifle.
This case has a lot of twists and turns, and that's not it. In 2013, an officer was ambushed. His name is Jason Ellis. And people are starting to feel that this Jason Ellis is connected to this particular case with Crystal Rogers and Brooks Houck. So now we have 3 people arrested in connection with the death of Crystal Rogers, although her body has not yet been found.
A third person is indicted in connection to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Stephen Lawson was just indicted on conspiracy to commit murder. Joseph Lawson was also indicted earlier this year on conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence charges. Then Brooks Houck was indicted on murder. Rogers went missing in 2015, but her body has never been found.
Joseph was first arrested in the case earlier this year. Right now, Steve Lawson is in jail in Harrison County, Indiana. He will be extradited back to Nelson County for his arraignment later this month.
Pieces falling into place 8 years after the disappearance of Crystal Rogers, the mother of 5 from Bardstown, last seen alive 4th of July weekend 2015. Now, 3 men have been linked to her death, believed to have happened that very same weekend. Joseph Lawson was the first arrest. Brooks Houck was second. Now Steve Lawson marks the third, a name not new to the investigation. In fact, it was first mentioned just months after Rogers was reported missing inside the Nelson County Sheriff's interrogation room.
Police arresting Steve Lawson today. The Nelson County grand jury indicting Lawson on 2 charges, conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence.
Adding to the whirlwind few months it's been in the unsolved Crystal Rogers case.
But everyone is excited. This has been a long time coming.
Police say they can now tie a third person to her 2015 disappearance, charging this man, Stephen Lawson, with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence.
Like everybody, we just want justice for the Ballards and for people to pay for the crimes that they did.
So that's really the gist of it. You know, it's hard to look at this case without going back to the Ellis case. It really is. And so I did the research. I did some research. I shouldn't say, because it's obviously a very complex, this whole situation's a very complex situation. So obviously don't know a lot, but I was able to ascertain a lot of great details and information as to what they thought originally happened, to how their philosophy changed on him being ambushed when they first got there. They felt like at first when they looked at the crime scene, those initial thoughts, they thought he was out there helping somebody move the stuff and that person killed him. When they got the ballistics and they got the trajectories and everything, they realized the person was up on an embankment shooting down at him with a 12 gauge shotgun, and he was shot and hit multiple times. Multiple could be 2, it could be more than 2. So it's multiple times. And he lost his life because of it. So they started looking at it, and they realized that those branches and trees in the middle of the road are not indigenous to that area. So where did those plants come from? Are those plants a direct link to the Houcks? Because they're all in construction. They all have rental properties. This is stuff that was trimmed away and stuff. And then we find out that Nick Houck worked with Jason Ellis on the same shift. And what's so bizarre about this particular event with Jason Ellis is that he made a collar that night. He had an arrest. So this threw his normal night off, right? Because you have to do the booking. You've got to take the inmate over to the jail. You've got other things going on that's going to push you over your time to clock out. So say if he was getting off at say 2 a.m., he may have walked out 2:10 or 2:15 or something like that, just as an example. But there was no way for anybody to have known that Jason Ellis, one, was not in his vehicle. His vehicle was in for repairs. I'm very curious what type of repairs he had because of this whole situation and it being ambushed. Why this particular night when it was the perfect storm? Think about it. He wasn't in his patrol car. He did not have his dog. He was running late, getting off work because he had an inmate that he had to process. And then he's still able to be ambushed with all of those unknown factors, almost as if somebody had the beat on him, somebody close to him, knowing that specific night at that specific time, he was running late. So you can imagine the shock and awe when we find out through the interrogation process of Nick Houck last night that he did acknowledge working with Jason Ellis. That is huge because whenever you have a small community, even like Colton County, South Carolina, when you have a small community and bodies start piling up and you clearly have at least one person that has killed somebody, say like Brooks Houck or Alec Murdaugh, right? We then start looking at past crimes associated with this. And now we have the idea that Crystal Rogers is dead and her father is dead. The police believe Crystal Rogers was killed by Brooks Houck. And based upon what the prosecutor said at a hearing for Brooks Houck, they believe his brother, Nick Houck, murdered Crystal Rogers' father, Tommy Ballard. So now we have two people that have been alleged as potential murderers, and one happens to work with a murdered cop. Well, you're in a small community with not a lot of murderers, and we have two that have been alleged by the prosecutor, and one just happens to work with another homicide victim. I find that a little odd. That's, to me, odd, right? Odd stuff. So what was the connection? Is it organized crime, albeit drugs or other types of, could they have just been the washers for organized crime? There are people that are ancillary people in organized crime that aren't really the mafia people. They're the cleaners, they're the washers, they're the, fixers, right? You have ancillary people that are not really associated with, but they are a resource that they use. Could that be the situation? There's some hint. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it. I did not feel it yesterday morning. By yesterday evening, I was feeling it. I was feeling it so much so that we did a 4-hour live. Bullhorn Betty does not do 4-hour lives. If you know anything about me, I love 2 hours. I think 2 hours is a perfect amount of time, but you just couldn't get through it in 2 hours. So here we're going to talk about some key dates, okay? Some key dates. This is just about a 2-minute little clip. I think it's very important to help us identify some information related to the Crystal Rogers case.
The Nelson County Sheriff's Office has handled Crystal Rogers' case since July 3rd, 2015, the last day she was seen alive. Brooks Houck told police that they were at his family's farm and went home together, but the next morning she was gone. Then Sheriff Ed Mattingly announced Crystal was...
It's very important that we remember that Brooks told law enforcement she left with him. And why is this so important? Because we know for a fact, because we've been covering it for the last few days, that Stephen Lawson was just arrested for conspiracy to commit murder and some other charges. In the interview that we saw with Brooks, and we played a portion of it yesterday, and that portion was Stephen Lawson calling in and saying, I had a question about a rental property, and you told me that you needed to get a hold of Crystal and call me back. What I find really odd is that everybody around Brooks didn't really know Crystal that well. Does anybody find that odd that she lived with this man? And his brother didn't really know her. His his employees really didn't know her, but he's got a kid with her and she handles this aspect of the business. It just seems to me very odd that nobody knows who she is. Like she's almost this secret of the family. Was he having affairs too? Because we heard that she was, but was he having affairs too? Why was she so quiet to everybody? Why did nobody not know her name? Because even in that interview, it seemed like Stephen called her Courtney or something like that, or some other C word, a C, name that started with a C. So I just find it really odd that nobody knew her. I don't get it. This just seems really odd. It just seems really odd. Maybe she, even though she was living with him, she was his dirty little secret. I don't know. I don't know.
She was gone. Then Sheriff Ed Mattingly announced Crystal was presumed dead on October 16th, 2015, and declared Brooks as the main suspect.
Can you believe that? They had that since July 16th. They had already deemed her deceased on July 16th, 2015. They knew she was gone. And he was the prime suspect. This is where it's hard. It's hard to believe there's no political corruption in this case. That's why it's so hard to believe. Because they had her deceased tagged. Because that's the one thing in the Summer Wells case that we have a problem with there. I really feel that there would be a rest in the case once they deem her deceased. They have never deemed her deceased, and I don't know why. She's never been heard from since. I mean, outside of one or two calls in that somebody had around this country. Let's put it into perspective. Somebody has called around this country saying they've seen this young girl, Summer Wells. Nobody said that. We've received like one or two calls around the country. And both of those were found not to be Summer Wells. So we've never seen or heard from Summer Wells since that day. We never heard her screaming when she was so-called abducted. Her mom was out there screaming for her. Nobody heard her voice after her being at the waterhole. Nobody heard her voice again. So I don't know.
Then last July and August, hope was renewed. Remains were found July 23rd, 2020 on farmland in Washington County, Kentucky, near the Nelson and Marion County border. The new evidence was quickly sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia to be tested and identified. Then, just 2 weeks later, on August 6, 2020, the FBI served warrants to search Brooks Houck's home, his brother Nick's home, and the family farm.
They had the hood of his truck open and going through under his hood. They're going through everything.
Dozens of federal agents walked in and out of Brooks's house.
I almost don't want to go too far because I'm almost going to have to back up here, because one thing that they said is that hunters found remains, and I'm sure that those have been identified, but I haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing about the remains that kicked off this whole investigation in 2020, because again, we've just been starting the research on this particular matter. Is somebody in here with knowledge of this case? Can they say whether those remains have been identified? Because so far they never acknowledged those remains after it. So let me go back here. Let's listen to it. I'll play it all the way through.
The Nelson and Marion County border. The new evidence was quickly sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia to be tested and identified. Then, just 2 weeks later, on August 6, 2020, the FBI served warrants to search Brooks Houck's.
Because I find it funny that they found remains, and then in August they're searching 3 properties. It just seems like that those remains may have been connected, but we still at this point haven't received anything to resolve who those remains are. Does anybody know? Can somebody know?
His brother Nick's home, and the family farm.
They had the hood of his truck open and going through under his hood. They're going through everything.
Dozens of federal agents walked in and out of Brooks's house as he calmly mowed the lawn outside. The IRS also showed up carrying out boxes and file cabinets full of documents. That search went on for 2.
Can you imagine having federal agents at your house, IRS agents at your house, doing a raid basically, and you're on a lawnmower doing yard work like it's just another day at the office? What? Seriously, you can't make this stuff up, but it's true.
days in Bardstown.
We want to get it right. We want to ensure that that our part in this investigation, that we are doing everything we can to solve the case.
But then they left and no other information. No announcement that the FBI got what they needed. No arrest. And the remains, the devastating news came for her family. It was not Crystal.
Okay, there we go. Not Crystal, but it kicked off this this investigation. It put some new air in the investigation.
That announcement didn't come for months.
But I want to know whose they were. I wonder if they'll say.
Not until November 2020. Still, that search renewed hope, just like this new federal effort underway in Bardstown. Remember,
So the whole situation out there, they didn't tell us whose remains those were. I mean, how many people are out there missing that you have remains just popping up on a farm and nobody knows, and they still haven't. Did we find out whether that was identified? When was this? Let me look at the article here. Hold on a second. Let me back this up. This was from 2 years ago. Does it actually have a date on here? August 24th, 2021. This was from August 24th, 2021, and it was in Nelson County, Kentucky. And what they say here is, as of July 2021, Bardstown mother Crystal Rogers has been missing for 6 years. Family and friends of the 35-year-old, last seen alive on the 4th of July weekend in 2015, has been searching, praying, and fighting for answers ever since. So that's that. Oh, and I wanted this one too, because this is good. This is good. This is from 2 years ago too. This is from April. So several months before that the raid at his house. This is in 2021, but it's in April 13th, and apparently. I had to laugh. I mean, it's funny, but not funny. People in the community were advocating for Crystal and saying, we know you did it. We know you did it. I can't make this stuff up.
4 years since Bardstown mother Crystal Rogers went missing, and still
4 years after.
No answers.
But now mysterious signs are plastered all over Nelson County. And as WDRB's Katrina Helmer reports, the signs don't hold back on who's to blame.
Signs like this are.
Wow, we're getting there. We kind of did the spoiler alert on our next video, right? Nick failed a polygraph. An officer of the law can't pass a polygraph test into the disappearance or the whereabouts of his perceived sister-in-law, right? They're not married, but she had a baby with his brother. She was living with his brother for all intents and purposes. That's an in-law. Let's keep going.
Popping up all over Bardstown, pointing fingers directly at the Houck brothers. They grab your attention, and that's the point.
I saw the signs. They are very blunt.
Sherry Ballard.
They are very blunt, Sherry. I don't think Sherry's got a problem with those signs being posted up. I don't know about your opinion. If I was a mama of a missing girl and I thought those animals did it, I would probably be saying, you know, I've seen them too. You're right. Yeah, they're out there.
Ballard is making it through another 4th of July without her daughter, Crystal Rogers. She disappeared 4 years ago.
Sorry, it's just been a rough week.
No one has ever been charged. Without any clear answers, Ballard vows to never let anyone forget Crystal. And when these signs popped up,
I just want to tell you guys something. That woman has been through hell. I can't imagine being faced with learning that my daughter is dead. Okay. I can't. I'm not even gonna for the beautiful people in this chat that have lost their children. God bless you. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you get up every day. I don't know how you put one foot in front of the other. I don't know how people survive the loss of a child. I personally don't know it. I can tell you that when I hear about it, my heart breaks because even though I don't understand the pain, I know it has to be super, super painful. a pain that I will never understand. That is, you know, it in a nutshell. I have no other observation than it has to be very, very, very painful, extremely, extremely painful. And like good parents, you know, you're faced with this horrific event and your body is numb. You know, I can imagine that your body is absolutely numb and you're just trying to put one foot in front of the other and figure out, what do you do? And for her father, Tommy Ballard, he's one of those men that jumped into action and wanted answers and didn't trust the system. And quite frankly, at this time, I don't think he should have trusted this system. I'm sorry, but why did it take this long? I literally want somebody to come out and answer me. October 16th, they determined she was deceased and Brooks Houck was the primary suspect. Now, come on. How nothing? How nothing? And then not only is she faced with the loss of her daughter 18 months later, a year later, something like that. I mean, a very short time. I mean, trust me, you haven't even gotten over the pain of your daughter. It takes years, and you're never going to get over the pain of your child. It takes years just to be able to exist again, from what I understand. And then boom, she's hit with another major loss. Her entire Rock of Gibraltar was decimated. Her husband shot and killed on his own property, murdered. Prosecutors believe Nick Houck did it. Sherry, is that her name, Sherry? Or am I missing that, making that with Sandy Smith? I can't remember her name. What is, let me just go back here, see what it is. Why am I saying Sherry? I don't remember what's the mom's name?
Charged. Without any clear answers, Ballard vows to never let anyone forget Crystal. And when these signs
is her mom named Sherry Ballard? Is there's a reason why Sherry keeps popping in my head, but I think for whatever reason, just a split second, I had her name wrong.
popped up overnight, she says it's comforting.
Brooks Houck was named the #1 suspect in my daughter's disappearance, and it makes me feel good to think that people out there believe the same thing that I do.
We don't want it to die down. We don't want her to be forgotten.
This person wants to remain anonymous, but admits to being one of several people planting these signs in the early morning hours of July 4th. They put out 75 signs with specific phrases.
We chose Nick failed the polygraph because Nick did fail the polygraph.
Another sign, Brooks Houck is the only suspect in the disappearance of Crystal Rogers.
You know, you're still the only suspect, and we want to keep that out there.
And this one, ride the wave, it's worked out this far. It refers to a statement Brooks Houck made to WDRB.
I have been advised, to ride the wave and keep on keeping on, and that's what I've done, and it's worked out great this far.
We still think that he's very cold, and
cold is an understatement. This man is his whole family. I don't trust the mom. I don't trust his mom. I'm sorry. There's just sometimes I'm a very trusting person in certain senses. I give everybody really an opportunity. Like you're given freely. When I first meet you, you're freely given trust and everything. How long you keep it is up to you. But I give everybody the same opportunity. But there are just a few people, just a few, that I get a bad vibe and I trust that instinct. Now, I'm not belly to belly with this lady, Mafia Mom. I'm going to call her Mafia Mom because I'm starting to feel like that funny little slogan I was saying might actually be true. But nothing there yet. It's just hypotheticals at this point. I don't know how. He's the only suspect in Crystal Rogers' murder. So they believe he murdered her. However, there was bodily fluids. Many people, if you aren't paying attention, bodily fluids in Nick Houck's cruiser his patrol car's trunk. They said it lit up like a Smurf. That's what they said in the interview last night. So obviously, Nick had to have assisted in some part. So I expect that assistance, him to be arrested here pretty soon. But where is the connection still? I still haven't made the connection. We know it's connected. It's Jason Ellis. We know it's connected, but how? This is the problem I have with the Jason Ellis case. Jason Ellis was the first K-9 unit in Bardstown. Apparently, he was very good at what he did. He was being recognized by, say, the governor. He was an outstanding employee of Bardstown Police Office, the police, police department. And he was a great employee. He was a by the book guy. From everything I'm hearing about him, it was a good, wholesome man that was just by the book. He just wanted to do good for his community and follow the rules, and everybody else followed the rules. In these articles, they were talking about how he was putting a dent specifically in the drug trade and or industry in that community, that's very small community of only less than 13,000 people. So there's drugs in that community, of that small community. Well, how are they getting the drugs? Who has the money to get those types of drugs in that community to sell? It takes money to make money. I mean, even in criminal enterprise, okay? It takes money to make money. You got to have a supply. You got to have a supply chain, and you've got to have money and people to move it. I mean, it's business, okay? I mean, it's not the business that people, it's a legal business, but it's still, it's a corporate business. I don't know how to explain it better than that. They even have chains of commands and policies and procedures, right? It's an organization. It's an organization, and it's a well-oiled machine organization. Okay. These are not organizations that are, just fly by the seat of your pants organizations. These are organizations that require very strategic and calculated moves, especially as illegal as drugs and other organized crime is. But I feel like there's some organization, crime here, organized crime here, because he was the drug police. He was ambushed and killed. They believe that the Houcks are involved somehow. Why would the Houcks be involved in this man's ambush? It doesn't seem like there's any love triangle going on. So the affair and the emotional stuff that comes with a love triangle don't appear to play a part in this case with Jason Ellis, therefore leading back to a criminal enterprise. What was he uncovering? Was it drug related? Was he getting close to the Houcks? Was he getting close to Mama Houck? Something. It stinks to high heaven. And if it is the Houcks, the question is why. There's only one reason why. It would have affected them, their livelihood, their freedom, or their money, right? So it has to be one of those things. It has to be.
Disrespectful to the family, uncaring. He never really seemed to be at all bothered by her missing, and that's the mother of his son.
At the bottom of the sign, "We're praying for sharks," another clear, pointed message.
The overall goal is we still don't have answers. We still don't have justice. And we need to keep them in the public eye until we do.
They know in their heart what happened.
Reporting in Bardstown, Katrina Helmer, WDRB News.
Okay, now without and this is them telling, I just want everybody to hear this for the record. This is the prosecution telling the state that they believe that Nick is responsible for Tommy Ballard. And then we're going to get into his confrontation with the police. I call it a confrontation because it's not technically a confrontation, but it kind of is, because they're going to divulge to him that he did not pass his lie detector test. And so we're going to watch his reaction to that. That's probably about all we're going to have time for today. And then we need to get over to church, our Countryside Christian Church, for a great message that I have no doubt. Also, if Miss Robin is in the chat, if we have another person that's in the chat associated with the church, I have not received a response back from Pastor Marcelo to drop off those gifts. Hopefully, maybe somebody can let him know to get a hold of me. I'd greatly appreciate it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this up.
I will tell Your Honor, we're investigating the. I will tell Your Honor, we're investigating the murder of Tommy Ballard that could potentially be related to this case. We are waiting for testing to come back on the firearm we believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard, a firearm that we purchased from Nick Houck, who was using a fake name when he sold the rifle. We know it's the same caliber. There's 5 criteria that they're looking at, and so far it's matched 4 of the 5 criteria.
Oh, wow. So matched 4 of the 5 criteria necessary to be a full match. So that's why I think Nick Houck is going to be the next to be arrested. I don't know what he's going to be arrested for, if he's going to be arrested for Tommy Ballard, if he's going to be arrested for his connection and his help of his brother, in the disappearance and the murder of Crystal Rogers. There's just a lot. This is a hot mess, but this is the discussions. It's about 44 minutes. I'm going to play it. I'm going to do minimal. We'll have to come back either later tonight or Monday. Monday morning, and discuss this and maybe put this up and have a further discussion on his reactions and stuff, because we still got 2 hours before we'll have time. Let's just roll through here. Okay, let's start.
Well, Nick, I've had a chance to review your charts on my test. That first test, you did not pass the test, and it's pretty clear to me that you haven't told me the complete truth to that. And the questions you're having a problem with are questions about Crystal, and in particular, one about whether or not you know where she is right now. And
so they believe
I treat police officers
know where she actually is. He did not pass his polygraph.
in these circumstances, so like I would myself. So we're not going to go through all the interrogation nonsense. You and I are on the same page. But again, I'm also going to tell you the complete truth as we're sitting here. And it's no longer a matter of wondering, do you know anything about what happened? We're past that now. I mean, I got crystal clear with you. I give everybody a good, fair test. I'm no longer asking you if you know. You do. Now, what you want to do with that is entirely up to you. I'm going to yell and scream at you and get the syphilis phone book and all that. I'm talking to you man to man as a fellow law enforcement officer. That the time has come for you to think real hard about the rest of your life. This is you. I'm not talking about Brooks or anybody else. And I'm telling you facts of life. I'm an old guy. I'm not trying to be a father figure here, but I'll tell you, I'm doing this for 25 years, the way that this pans out. When the FBI gets involved in this investigation, I want you to listen to one thing. You don't have to say anything to me. You do whatever you want to do. As I said, you may never even be an FBI agent, right? But once you get on the radar, we don't go away. Unless there's a reason to. I thought there would be.
This FBI agent is telling him, hey, look, you know, I talked to him. He's being very nice and very cordial. I mean, I love the professionalism. Being like, yeah, you don't need to call me. You don't need to talk to me. You don't have to do nothing with me. But we know you know something. And the test is saying you know something. This you know, just very professional. I love it. And they don't have to be hard. He's even saying, hey, I can go get the phone books, right? It's not that. I'm the FBI. We're in it to win it. We're not going away. How are you planning on handling your business from this point forward? Is basically what he said.
You didn't pass this, and there's some other information there as well. So I guarantee you we're not going away. All right. The FBI has unlimited resources in terms of forensic information, electronic information, many bodies as we want to pour out here, do surveillance and look through everything that's ever gone on. We will find Crystal. I have zero doubt about that. It's a matter of when it's going to be and why. And inevitably, what's going to happen is one of a couple of things. We'll determine exactly if she's injured and dead, which she in likelihood is. You've come to that conclusion yourself. The way that happened and the means in which it happened. Now, I know what your relationship is with your brother. It's a tight relationship, but in a unique kind of way. You have a little different relationship, and it's actually, again, not trying to make comparisons, similar to what mine and my brothers are. We're close, but in a very different way. And no doubt in my mind that you've spoken with him about what happened. You know essentially what happened. And whether or not it was something staged out and planned in terms of I'm going to make it go away, or if it was something that was, I hesitate to say an accident, but something that was not intended to do. My hunch is, I don't know, because I don't have the physical evidence in front of me to know, but 99% of the time in these, it's something that was not intended, a push, a shove, somebody trips, hits her, or whatever. Have no idea. We find her, we're going to know, no doubt about it, and we will. And at that point, they're no longer going to come and ask you what happened. They're no longer going to come and ask Brooks what happened. They're going to know what happened. And they're going to prosecute, assuming a worst case scenario, because everybody had an opportunity up front to say, whoa, time out. It's a horrible, horrible thing. I got scared. Let me just tell you what happened. Nobody's going to want to hear that anymore, because all your testimony in the grand jury, all his in the grand jury, the interviews that were recorded, where there are demonstrable lies about things that were said, that's all I'm put in front of a jury and or a judge. You know, you've learned the system. And people are going to look at it in the totality and say, well, now they're saying it was some kind of an accident or they didn't intend for it to happen. Why didn't they just say that last month, last year, 5 years ago, whenever it may be? And what's going to end up happening is people end up getting prosecuted, and they look for the most significant sentences they can for people. And then people start cutting deals and who's going to get the reduced sentence and blah, you know how that all works. Point is, at that point, it's out of everybody's control. If we're going to get involved as the FBI and expend all these resources, then we're going to just assume the worst and go forward. If at this stage, however, and I'm just giving you the facts to lay out, these are not things, I have no doubt you've pondered this since the very first day this all occurred. But I want you to refresh it in your mind. You think about it however you want to. What everybody that I've talked to believes is this was something that was not a planned out murder for hire type thing or that nature. It was about a relationship and something that happened, flared up. Like you were having domestics in your career, plenty. And you know, people don't plan those out. Sometimes you know, you see a pattern of behavior. It doesn't appear to be the case here. That's why I asked you about their relationship, and others have as well. Nobody's pointing to saying it's that kind of relationship. Again, I'm not going to lay out all the evidence that's sitting there right now, and there's plenty of it. And I don't know the additional evidence that's going to come out as this goes forward, because we're just getting started on an awful lot of things. But rest assured, it's all going to be laying on a table where you can now point and say, okay, this is it. And whether it be a circumstantial type of a case where it's just you put together the totality and it's so overwhelming that there is only one conclusion that a jury can draw. That's probably how this is going to work out. Unless somebody wants to step up and be a man and say, look, here's the deal. This is what happened, and make it better. I'm telling you, 25 years of doing this, it always works out for the best. And that's what happens. People aren't going to come, you know the deal. Once you've interviewed a lot of people in your career. I'm quite sure, more than a few, I would bet. You've been in law enforcement 11. An interview can be as simple as talking to people or traffic stop. Right? Mm-hmm. You know people. And in talking to those people, you pretty much know what happens. You've been around kids before. You know, if you ask them a question and they say something, you know it pretty much right away. Well, that's what I do kind of on steroids. And I mean, it's obvious. Looking at your interviews before, it was already obvious that you're not being truthful about some things. Okay? To me, it was equally obvious that you're not somebody that had a major role in anything that happened as far as her disappearance and these. And there could be some other issues and factors there. I don't know. That's my assessment. But when we start talking about her, where she is right now, when somebody fails a polygraph, the reason I did the test like this, you saw the numbers test, right? When I had you write the number 5 and I had you tell me that you didn't write it, and it jumps off the screen that you're telling me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's areas right off of that list you did the exact same thing. And you know where they are. And what that is a guilty knowledge test. That's what I call it. And what that is your heart and your mind betraying what your body knows to be the truth. My master's degree is in forensic psychophysiology, which means the mind and the body interacting to determine the truth in an interview setting. That's what I do. This is actually admissible in court because it's scientifically valid. So when I say you know more than what you told me, I'm not guessing that. Okay? And when I tell you, polygraph, you didn't do well. I don't show people the chart. I don't show it. You probably don't care, but just so you know the facts. It's results on your test. Section indicated 100%, and then greater than 99. What's greater than 99? 100, right? What are the questions? Do you know where Crystal is right now? Are you hiding any information about what happened to Crystal? Okay. You didn't tell me the truth on both of those questions. So, I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to sit here and make up my stuff and try to read techniques with you. We're past that. So the cat's out of the bag.
So I found that pretty interesting. We hear of the polygraph test, but we didn't hear about that other test, and it's scientifically proven. So what was it? The guilty, I'll have to go back and get the actual verbiage that he used on that. That's something new. Actually, let's go back and listen to that again. Now, I don't know if, let's go back and listen to it again. What the heck? We got nothing but time. Where are we at? Let's go back 30 seconds. Let's go back 30 seconds. Let's listen.
Polygraph, you didn't do well. I don't show people the chart. I don't show it. You probably don't care, but
I'll make it back.
Polygraph, you didn't. I'm not guessing that. Okay. And when I tell you, polygraph, you didn't do well. I don't show people the chart. I don't show it. You probably don't care, but just so you know the facts. It's results on your test.
Sorry.
Section indicated 100%.
Ooh.
And then greater than 99. What's greater than 99? 100, right? What are the questions? Do you know where Crystal is right now? Are you hiding any information about what happened to Crystal? Okay. You didn't tell me the truth on both of those questions.
Guilty knowledge.
So, I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to sit here and make up my stuff. And
So this guilty knowledge test, this guilty knowledge test is admissible in a court of law. So they do have ways of getting this stuff in there, right? They do have ways of getting this stuff in there. But Nick did not pass his polygraph test, and it's all the stuff around Crystal. And yesterday when we were listening to his interview, those officers were very direct in wanting to make sure he said that the blanket was in the back of his patrol car and how it got into the back of the patrol car. They focused very highly. They got nothing out of that entire interview. And we were all sitting here and we're like ready to hit our heads on a hard surface because I had never seen such obstruction before. Not obstruction, that's just uncooperation. That I had never seen willful uncooperation be exercised so politely in my life. He was absolutely 100% uncooperative, but they still won in that interview. You know why they won in that interview? Because they had him say the blanket. We didn't know it. When we stopped it right there too and said there's something in that trunk. And then when he brought that blanket up, it was like there's something with that blanket. There's something with that blanket. Some thought blood, some thought fluid. Some thought, I was like maybe gunpowder residue because that's what was on the blue tarp thing for Alec Murdaugh. Come to find out, we don't know what was on there. But by the time the interview was done, we realized that the whole back of his trunk according to the detectives in his interview on July 15th, 2015, was that his car lit up like a Smurf, that only works with bodily fluids, and that the only way you can get bodily fluids in the trunk of your car is by way of a body. And they pretty much said it just like that. But he didn't know nothing, right? He didn't know nothing. He doesn't even know what Crystal looks like, doesn't know what his nephew looks like, doesn't talk to Brooks, hasn't talked to Brooks forever, can't remember what he did yesterday, can't remember what he did last week. All he knows is he doesn't know nothing, and people don't know him unless he's in his patrol car. That was it in a nutshell. An hour and 40-minute interview, that was it in a nutshell. And he was moving furniture and stuck a blanket in the trunk of his car. But he could remember who purchased his home. He could remember the person's first and last name. Who knew? Who knew?
We're past that. So the cat's out of the bag as far as your guilty knowledge. And again, I'm not going to play the games with you as detective doing all the read stuff and everything else. I'm telling you, two individuals who know the way investigations work, what the facts are. And the time is now, today, to start fixing this problem. And we can talk all about Crystal and how
I can tell you looking here, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can back this up just a little bit, because I want to focus in on something here. And it's kind of hard because where the positioning is of the camera. But I'm noticing, that's about as far as I'm going to be able to get it. Oh, that sucks. I'm noticing his face. Like his face is like he ain't buying it. He expects this. He expects them to come out. Like I'm looking, because I've got a bigger screen next to me, that so I can see his face much better than I can see it on the screen that I'm running this whole program on, right? And when I look at his face, it's almost as if he's saying F you in his facial expressions. He's very nonchalant in here. He's very, they have a way of being, cordial and keeping their tone down and everything like that. I mean, this guy's trained, and but he just has this expression on his face. While this guy is saying, hey, look, I'm the FBI. Like your day is about to get really bad, dude. Like you need to start cooperating here. This is not a good strategy for you. And he's basically, with his facial expression and his eyes, is telling this FBI agent to go, do something with himself. I don't know. And that's just the feeling I'm getting looking at his face. Like he just has a smirk, like, I don't know what else to say to that.
You need to get her a proper burial, and her family needs closure, and her son needs closure, and all those things are true.
Good morning, Bullhorn.
But you know that.
Second Grammy.
But you're a realist. You deal with them the today and the going forward. You even kind of said that basically in an interview the other day. People were concerned about why isn't Brooks acting differently with what's happened here? His girlfriend, mother's child is missing, and he's happy-go-lucky, essentially. Well, people react to things in different ways, and I get that. That's why I say your relationship with him is a little different than others. It's a close relationship, but it's different than others might perceive. I'm the same way. It's an introvert's way of dealing with things. Introvert doesn't mean shy. It means you deal with things from an internal locus. We all do. I'm very much that way. So I get that. But that's why I'm not going to go into all these things about getting her a proper burial in the family and getting her back so that her son can visit the grave and all that. We all know that to be true, and you've already thought about that. You're dealing with that internally. What you're dealing with going forward is you, and more importantly, your brother. Your role in this, I'm assuming, because I wasn't out there to see exactly what you did or didn't do.
Was nothing.
Well, I'm not even asking you.
Okay, we'll go ahead. I mean,
you did. I've already shown you, so I don't care. I'm not asking you if you did or didn't. You did.
Okay.
And we both know that. It's for a lot. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's crystal clear, right?
You know, he's starting to be combative. He's being like this officer, as polite as this officer is, believe it or not, this is him leaning on him a little bit. You know, he's leaning on him. He's doing it from a cordial place. It may get a little more intense. I don't know. I haven't watched this through. This is interesting.
What happened here? Now, the details of who did what when, can I tell you exactly? No, but I can demonstrably point out through forensic evidence already that things that you told us about where you were at various times are demonstrably not true. We can prove in front of a jury today that you were places that you said you weren't. That's just one example. Again, I'm not.
I think he said that you said you were at places you said you weren't. I think that's what he just said. So let's go back and listen to that. That sounds important. Hold on. I'm going to go back 15 seconds. I think he just said we can prove in court today that you were at places you said you weren't. Let's listen to that again.
You told us about where you were at various times are demonstrably not true. We can prove in front of a jury today that you were places that you said you weren't.
That you were places that you said you weren't. That's what it said, that you were places you said you weren't. Interesting.
That's just one example. Again, I'm not asking for true. We can prove in front of a jury today that you were places that you said you weren't.
That you were places you said you weren't. Yep.
Again, I'm not asking for, I'm telling you the facts of what happened. You believe whatever you want about what I'm telling you. But I get paid to be truthful with people. All right? I'm here, my whole point today, when I'm doing a polygraph examination, I'm working for you, I'm working for the person in that chair. This is about a quest for the truth. And we're much closer today to the truth than we were when you first walked in that door. You can deny, that's fine. That's what people do. It's will. That's what you've done at this point. And it's human nature. You know, when people are asked questions about a matter such as this, they immediately circle the wagons and start to, well, out of self-preservation, we all.
Man, let me just cut you off. I mean, do we need to take this any further?
I would like to take it to the truth. That's the whole reason we're here.
Is the test though? I mean, you're talking crazy.
Well,
I mean, you're talking crazy.
Was that your rehearsed response to what was going to happen today? Because it sure sounds like it.
I don't know what it sounds like. I'm just telling
Well,
you.
I'm telling you what it is.
You're talking crazy.
What's crazy about it? Explain to me.
The accusations you're making.
Yeah, I'm saying you were involved in this.
Absolutely not.
Well,
none.
You already told me that. That's why we did the polygraph, to find out.
He said that you're involved. He said involved in this. Involved in this.
Yeah, well, now
I told you what now?
You told me before that you were involved in this.
Absolutely not.
Well,
none.
You already told me that. That's why we did the polygraph, to find out. Well, now we both know.
I told you what now?
You told me before you had nothing to do with it. Right?
Yes.
Well, now we're past that because I've already shown that you did have something to do with
it. I don't know what the test.
I just showed you.
Okay.
I just showed it to you.
But I'm telling you, I did have.
And I'm telling you, you're lying. I mean, I can't make it any. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just telling you the truth.
That's what I'm doing to you. I'm telling you the truth.
No, you're not. We're past that. I've already shown you.
I've taken the polygraph. Do you have anything else for me? Because I mean, I'm not going to sit here and we're not going to go back and forth like this.
You do whatever you want to do. I said I'm.
I mean, I want to cooperate with you. I mean, I'm not here.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what you know.
I don't know anything.
We're past that. You've already shown me that you do.
I know nothing. I'm sorry.
That's not true. It's not me. I just showed you. I don't even show people their notes. I showed you yours.
Man,
and I even went the extra step for you to find out. Okay, well, let's try to nail down what you know more about. You know more about this? Who would know? Am I saying that you did it or you didn't? No, I'm just saying you know more than we did. Whether that's a simple conversation with your brother or whether you were physically involved out there, I can't tell you. Either one of those things would explain what I'm seeing. My hunch is it's something that your brother told you.
I don't know anything. He has not spoken with me about this.
Well,
he's my brother.
I'm glad you said that because he probably would know better than to say specific things. So it's a matter then perhaps of what you observed, what you saw other people say. I don't know. I wasn't there. All I'm telling you is objectively, that's what we do. You and I do. That badge on there is what? To protect society. That's what SHIELD is, right?
Yes.
That's what we do. And I'm protecting you just as I would anybody else. But at the end of the day, I'm protecting one thing, and that's the truth. And objectively looking at the facts, even if I were to take this out of the equation, why would somebody on numerous occasions in a formal interview under oath over there say something they know isn't true? Why would they do that?
Well, you know about me?
You know about you?
Well, I mean, you think it would have had anything to do with being a little irritated about how things are going? I mean,
Well, that's why you lied?
I didn't lie.
Well, I'm telling you, you did. I mean, I can show that already. This is not even.
Tell me about one of the lies.
Well, I can do that unless you're going to help me to understand the reasons behind it.
Dude,
I'm not going to lay out all the evidence that they do or don't have, but I can.
I didn't ask you. I said, tell me about something I've lied about.
That's what we're talking about. In the grand jury, you said places that you were not. When I asked you specifically a moment ago about whether or not you were ever at certain places, and you told me no. Well, I already knew when I asked that question that wasn't true because I can place you there. Those are just examples.
Are you talking about the video out there in the driveway?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't.
But I can promise you that I have been 100% honest with you.
That's what everybody, 100%. That's just you take technique stuff. That's what everybody says. I'm 100%. I'm 110% honest. That's not it. Look, there's either the truth or not the truth, right?
And that's what I gave you, the truth.
Well, but you didn't, and I've already shown that. I give you benefit of that before you come in. I'm assuming you're telling me the truth. Look, I treat people the way they treat me. You haven't been an ass with me, and I'm not going to be an ass with you. I'm not that kind of guy. But I'm laying out for you what I've seen here. I can't argue with this. I've done over 2,000 of these. Trust me, when I told you I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing.
You must have slipped up today. I mean, I don't.
What do you think the chances are better that you slipped up and the truth snuck out here, or that I slipped up?
I know you slipped up, but if you're telling me that I failed that test,
I told you in no certain terms you did fail that test.
well, then the
I
test,
showed you.
then it wasn't valid. I mean,
Absolutely valid.
well, listen, I'm telling you, I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, well that's fine, and I'll tell you, I'll even give you that you had nothing to do with it. Okay.
I know
For
certain
purposes here today.
I know for certain I had nothing to do with it, and I know nothing about it.
Well, that I won't. I won't give.
Well, I mean, that's
Because
just
I've shown that. Look, one of the two things is true. Either you know something, and it could be something relatively insignificant that you haven't told me.
I don't know anything. Absolutely nothing.
Well, then why would you be less than candid with me, with the other interview, and in the grand jury?
There's a reason for that.
That's what I'm saying. Explain that to me.
I had nothing to do with this, and I don't know anything about it.
No.
You know, it's just irritation. I mean, that just kind of worked its way into this.
Okay.
You know, I've been 100% honest.
Okay, well, that gets to, maybe that's it. Let me ask you that. All right, I'll give you that. When I ask you if you'd be less than candid, that means less than 100% truthful about things. You said you were irritated. Okay, which I understand. I would be too. Truthfully, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Okay. Have I been accused of things in the past that I didn't do? Yeah. Have I been accused of things I did do? Absolutely. Okay. And I've been irritated when I got accused of things I did do because I got caught. And then I got to face up to the consequences. You talk about being irritated in there. Tell me some of the things then. Like, again,
I'm not rehashing all this. I'm just.
No.
I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time.
My time is not wasted.
Listen,
we're here talking.
Listen, I don't know nothing about this. Nothing at all, and I had nothing to do with it. I don't know anything.
Well,
if I had something to tell you, I would. She's got kids.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Why do you think we're here?
Okay, look, I don't know nothing.
Well, something you just
not
said,
even something insignificant.
Clear that up for me. What you just, because I said, why would you be less than candid with me or the other interview in the grand jury? And you said, why would that be? Because I was irritated. Okay.
Well, being irritated and being put in front of 12 people and accused of stuff like this, I mean, you know, you're going to forget things and not be able to speak as well as you normally would. I mean, there's more to it than you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's exactly what I'm asking.
Some of those things you can't explain. I'm not going to sit here and try to explain.
Take your time to relax. Look, as I said, I'm sitting here. I'm here working for you. If there's stuff to explain it. I will take all day with you to fix it.
And it would take all day to go through all.
See, he just doesn't want it. This guy is literally, it's like, wrong answer, right? This guy, he's sitting there telling him, look, it's going to, you know, it's hard to explain. So he's like, okay, well, let's take the time right now to go ahead and explain it. I'm going to take some time right now. I'm going to go up here because I know you guys have been talking for some time and I've been paying attention to the chat, but I haven't really been answering your questions. So, let's see here. Does anyone know why Joseph Lawson was originally arrested? Let's see, Susan. I'm not, honestly, I don't know. I know that if you're talking about when he was arrested in September, it was, for tampering with evidence. Joseph Lawson, charges. Let's just see. Conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. Let me see if it has any. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, I about gave myself a heart attack. The phone was right here, and apparently I pushed a button. My elbow hit it, and it just scared the living. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that. That scared the crap out of me. I can't make this stuff up. All right. This article's not opening for some reason. That's a little odd. Let's see if I can get it to open this way. Maybe they changed the title. Maybe that's just, they still have the, it says Lawson 32 was the first man arrested in connection with Rogers' 2015 disappearance. He is charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. If he was arrested prior to that, it's not showing up because it's just littered with the arrest connected to Crystal Rogers. Hopefully that answers your question. But here it is, where's my, let me pull this way so I know where I'm at. There we go. Give me just a second. There you go. Right there. So that's what it says. Now, I don't know if he was arrested, because I believe there was arrests in this case before. I hadn't come across it in this round of research yet, but I recall like even Brooks was arrested once upon a time, but they dropped the charges because they didn't want double jeopardy to apply. So they could rearrest him when their case was a little bit stronger. If I recall correctly, there's something like that seems to just be going in my mind for some reason as to be true. But we'll get to that when I get to, we've got a lot of stuff here, so we're walking through it all together. Let's see, maybe another cop. I mean, he was another cop. I think he is the other cop. I think Nick Houck is the other cop, to be honest with you. But usually when a cop is ambushed, or anybody for that matter, I mean, this is a cop that has a canine. So we have to look at that as a possibility of a clue. But another reason people get ambushed and killed is usually an affair, right? Either theirs with, the person is their woman, or it's the other person of, say, the significant others, slice on the side. They got jealous. They thought that they were going to get a divorce. They're not getting a divorce. So the person takes it in their own hands and offs the third wheel, but if you look at Jason Ellis' personal life, he doesn't seem to have that kind of character of a person. First and foremost, I mean, it seems very out of character that he would go out on his wife. Does that mean that assessment is accurate? No, it doesn't. It absolutely does not. But it just doesn't appear to be that way. And if it doesn't appear that way until it does, you can look at it, but the possibility of that being something significant, it isn't. It doesn't sound like he or his wife were stepping out on the marriage. So that's one reason why you'd be ambushed and gunned down. So that, to me, in my mind, is not a possibility, because it's kind of eliminated based upon their home environment and the information that we've learned about the home environment. So now you got to look at it as a crime of opportunity. This one was ambushed. This is not a crime of opportunity. So what would cause an ambush? It's got to be a criminal for me, it's got to be a criminal enterprise, something that was becoming known or something he was investigating. And if it's connected to the Houcks, it has to be something that he was investigating related to them. And I'm thinking with him being the only canine, the work that he's doing related to drugs and getting drugs off the street and putting a dent in drugs, so much so that the governor awarded him some type of award for his work. It sounds like it's organized crime related, because that's kind of his area of expertise in this small town, so to speak. That's kind of how my brain's processing what we're learning here. And I know we all think differently. So if you're processing differently, put your perspective out so we can look at that, because it might be because this is all speculative. This you guys are hearing the same facts I am. You're getting one thing out of it that I'm not getting out of it, right?
All this, I mean,
Brother,
it's
you're on the
not,
clock, you're getting paid so high. You give me the thumbnail sketch if you want. Just explain to me what your big concern is.
I'm not going there.
Hey,
Why not?
Jared.
It makes no sense.
I'm not going there. Okay.
Well, it's not okay for me.
Well, I mean,
Look at what we're dealing with here. We're talking about the potential murder of an individual or an accidental death, right?
And if I knew anything, I would help you.
No,
out.
it's
But I
not.
don't.
We're going to.
I know where you're going
No,
with
you
this,
don't.
man.
Where am I going?
You're going to just bring all this stuff about Crystal, and you need to
Nope.
be,
No,
go ahead.
I told you I wouldn't go this whole read technique stuff with you, right? What I'm talking about just is what you just said about explaining it to me so I can understand where you're coming from. You don't have to go through a whole life's history unless you want to. You said that you were irritated and there's things that you don't know, man. That's what you said to me. Help me to understand what some of those things are that I don't understand, that would then make me understand the reason for this. There can be explanations, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, just this whole process,
Talk
starting
to me
from the
about it.
chief and going down. I'm not going to do that.
But you said there's things I don't know
This will
about
be
this.
shown to him. He'll be irritated, and then he'll be watched. I'm not doing that. It's that simple. I mean,
What do you mean? I'm not understanding.
you ought to be following me, man. If you're as sharp as, if you work for the, you ought to be following me. Okay?
Talk to me like I'm a kid then.
No, I'm not. Okay?
I'm giving you every opportunity.
And I'm telling you, no. Okay? I don't know anything about this.
Well, that's okay. That's not what I'm talking about. But you said there's things that
I'm
I
not
don't know
going
that
into
would
it.
explain it.
I'm not going into it. Okay?
Why not?
So he's giving him an opportunity to explain what's going on, to explain these details that, when he came in there, he was very nice and polite, and this FBI agent, because let's face it, this Nick guy, he's got this whole nice guy thing down pat, doesn't he? He acts nice. We watched his interview yesterday. We watched his behaviorism. He's got the nice guy act down pat. He can tell you absolutely nothing and not cooperate and be a completely uncooperating witness the nicest way possible. We watched it happen. And, I even so much, said so much so that, when we perceive, when we hear the witness wasn't cooperating, we always perceive somebody being like, I'm not, screaming, crossing their hands, saying, I'm not going to talk to you. I know my rights. Right? The dramatic, stuff. But an uncooperating witness could be just I don't know. I didn't see nothing. No, don't even know what she looks like. But she's your sister-in-law. Well, she recognizes me every now and again in my patrol car. Well, how long has her and your brother been together? 2 to 3 years. But you don't know what she looks like? Well, we hide her every now and then. I just don't talk to him much. But you've been blowing up your brother's phone. Like he has no, he doesn't know nothing. He's the know nothing guy, right? He's the know nothing guy.
Because it's not worth going into.
I would think it'd be very worth going into.
It's not worth going into.
Why not?
Okay, I'm not talking about it, period.
Why not?
Because I'm choosing not to.
Okay, that's fine. But tell me face to face as a man, I'm not going to tell you the truth. That's all I'm asking.
That's not what I just said.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, then you need to rethink it.
Well, help me to rethink it then. Look,
I'm not going to listen to me. I'm not going into it. Okay? I'm here to cooperate with your polygraph and all that stuff. And you can make any kind of notes you want. You can assume that I fail. It didn't bother me.
What is it you haven't told me that's causing you such concern here?
I'm not going into to everything that's happened. You know, I mean,
Like what?
I don't have nothing to do with this. Guys showing up at my house.
Look, this is the first day you and I've met, right?
Yes.
Have I been anything but cordial with you?
And I think I've been the same way with you.
I'm not accusing you of not being.
Okay, there's nothing else to discuss here. Well, I mean, if I had something to give you, I would. I don't.
Put yourself in my seat for just a second.
Okay.
And I'm talking to someone who's a family member, essentially, is missing and possibly dead. And you're sitting here, and that individual, who you know nothing about, never met before today, right? But you've seen some interviews where you haven't been completely truthful about things. Not just kind of, haven't been completely truthful about a couple.
I've been 100% truthful.
Listen to what I'm saying.
You listen to what I'm saying. I've been 100% truthful.
Why are you yelling at me?
Well, because you're telling me I'm lying.
Ah, here comes the heat. Ooh, somebody is ultra defensive. Can't hold himself together. He lit him. He got him. He lit him up. Look at that. He's got him fired up now. Now he's going to start trying to explain all this. Now he's going to let himself get too flustered, and something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Here we go, guys. Get your popcorn.
I know the truth, you know? And I've been 100% honest with you, the grand jury, and everybody else I've spoken with.
Here's what I'm getting. We just said.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
I most definitely have. And if you don't want to believe it, that's your issue. It's not mine.
It's not just me. I showed you.
Dude, I don't give a goddamn what your fucking computer said. Okay?
I think you do.
I'm telling you that I have been 100% honest with you.
Is this how you act? Does this act this way towards Crystal?
When somebody...
I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. You know what this reminds me of? You know how you have, I'm sure we've all had a significant other like this, right? Where they talk to you so calm and they know that they're getting under your last nerve, and they wait until you start getting flustered, and they're like, you need to calm down. You know, you're acting irrational here. And it sets you, it makes you even get angrier. It's like, like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be laughing, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that significant other that just, you know, just gets you right there. And then you start getting upset, and you're like, wait a minute, you need to calm down. You're being a little irrational here. What's going on with you? You beep, beep, beep. Where's my beep button? Where's my beep button? I know I got one here. I think I got too many buttons now. Beep. That's not the beep. Oh Lord. I'm serious. I can't find all this stuff. Oh, we even have a better audio laugh. Listen to this one. I think I like this one better. I think I like that one better. All right, let's get back.
Is this how I act toward Crystal? I act toward people that accuse me of lying when I'm not lying. That's how I act. No, I didn't know Crystal.
Then why are you getting so angry?
Because you're calling me a fucking liar.
No, I'm just calling you a liar.
Okay.
I want you guys to understand this. Did you hear him? I didn't know Crystal. He just said, I did not know Crystal. He's got a 2-year-old nephew. A 2-year-old nephew. This is where I get so highly confused about this. He sees his brother and his mother regularly. His interview yesterday, he says, I don't know anything. I never see them, blah, 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 blah. But by the end of the interview, he's saying that he's out at his mama's house at least 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, that's what's kind of hard for you to have no contact with your family and be out at the family house 3 or 4 times a week around the family. I mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that has holes all in it. And it's just so hard and bizarre that nobody really knew Crystal. Because even his employees, like Steve Lawson, won that phone. Well, you know that the girl, Courtney or whatever. Oh, you mean Crystal? This is a woman that Brooks was with for 2 to 3 years and has a child that's 2.5 years old. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Sorry, I'm having a truffle addiction right now. Okay. It's so good. I can't help it. We'll get back to this.
I don't like when people call me a liar. I'm being 100% truthful with you.
There's only the truth and not what you
So
said.
why can't you? I'm being truthful.
Look,
Okay.
we're not 2-year-olds, all right?
Okay.
So it's not, yes, I am, no, I'm not. Yes, I am, no, I'm not. We're talking, look, I've been nothing but professional with you and trying to help you in this
Okay.
situation.
Other than calling me a liar when I'm not.
Look, if the right thing to do is to tell you not being truthful, then I'm going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Look, I don't care. Little lies, big lies, they're all the same in terms of the polygraph.
I haven't told you any lies.
That's not entirely true.
It is 100% true.
Then help me to figure this out.
Okay.
What you just told me a moment ago, maybe explain it to me so that maybe I misunderstood what you're telling me. But you told me because you were irritated and there's all kinds of things that I don't know about whatever, that I can't understand why you would say the things you said. That's what you
It's
told me.
just been an experience. Well, all this is going on.
But
You
that's
got
what I'm
guys showing
asking
up over at my house taking calls. I mean, this is crazy.
Okay, that's what I'm asking about. Are we talking about because of things that have been going on since it's happened, or are you talking about there's things that have gone on over time that I'm not understanding?
No, I'm talking about recently.
Okay, well, how am I supposed to know that? If you don't
Yeah,
tell
I
me
mean,
that?
this is simple stuff, man. I mean, I have been 100% honest with you, and surely, God, you can understand with people showing up at my house and my family out there taking cars. The neighbors are watching. Man, it's been screwed up.
Of course I can understand.
Okay,
But I wasn't there. How do I know?
The neighbors are watching. The neighbors are watching, dude. The neighbors are watching. What about the girl that's been missing since, 2015, July 4th, 2015? The neighbors are watching? You think anybody gives a damn about the neighbors watching? I'm telling you, if it was my family member, I don't think I would. And we have to consider Crystal is their family. Maybe that's why everybody keeps saying they don't know Crystal. Because then it wouldn't look so bad on the family not giving a crap that their sister-in-law is missing. So it's just easier to say, hey, we don't know her. It's hard to care for somebody you don't know. Meanwhile, she's been with the man for 3 years and's got a 2.5-year-old child. Explain that to me.
No, I mean, you just assume. I mean, if you were a patrol officer and you got your chief showing up, and I mean, dude, that's crazy. Who the hell?
Professional.
I mean, listen, they come up with all these lies about, well, there's bodily fluid in your car, there's blood. There is no way in hell there is any blood in that car.
I have no idea.
Everybody's told me that. I didn't speak with the state police. That's the first thing they said.
Okay.
Grand jury. I mean, it's crazy.
But I'm not that, right?
Okay, but I'm just saying this is crazy.
It may be. All I'm saying, look, I'm not vouching for all this stuff. The evidence will speak for itself, right?
Sure.
So it really doesn't matter what people want to say or not. The evidence that I've told you about that I can demonstrate are things that we already do have back that I can show. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think they're anything that paint you in a horrible light. They show discrepancies with what you've said. Well, there may be a very clear reason for that.
There is.
Well, that's all I'm saying. I'm not. Look, when I accuse you of lying over here, okay, and lies are bad one. Nobody wants to hear lies. We've all lied in our lives. I don't care who you are. I have, no doubt about it. We all have. Nobody wants to hear that. But somebody who's telling a lie, it's the same thing as saying they're not being.
Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, shoot. We just lost it. Fudge. Hold on. Let me see where we are.
I don't know nothing about this. Nothing at all. And I had nothing to do with it. I don't know anything.
I don't know.
If I had something.
I accidentally hit the wrong spot and it went back. So I think we might have just rewound. I'm sorry. As far as the for I Am Team Summer, this is the question right here. It said, did they say blood or bodily fluids? So far, how it was explained in the interview is that they used Blue Star, and Blue Star has wasn't that what they said? Did they say they used Blue Star? I think they said they used Blue Star. They used some type of solution. And it adheres to bodily fluid. So what the police officers said was bodily fluid, that they couldn't determine, obviously to the naked eye without the forensics. They couldn't determine whether it was bodily fluid, just any bodily fluids, urine, Saliva, blood, those are all, all bodily fluids are considered bodily fluids. It adheres to bodily fluids. So any bodily fluids in there, vomit, stuff like that. Any bodily fluids would cause this stuff to light up. He's saying nobody threw up in his trunk, that, nobody, the person that had the trunk prior to him was a ridiculously clean person, and nobody drives that vehicle. Yet when they took the vehicle, he was surprised. The chief went over to his house and got the vehicle. They took the vehicle, they confiscated it, they sprayed it, and it lit up like a Smurf. Those were the exact words that were used. But they didn't specifically say blood or what kind of bodily fluid it was that they found. And trust me, they will be able to determine that. All they were able to determine is that they were talking to him about is that it was bodily fluid. That was it. That's the terminology law enforcement used. So I don't know what it is. He's saying blood. He's saying blood or other bodily fluids or something to that effect. We don't know specifically one way or another, because the only thing we've heard law enforcement refer to is bodily fluids, and it lit up like a Smurf. I always thought that it adhered to blood. I didn't know it adhered to all bodily fluids. I know there are some chemicals that do one or the other or both. You learn stuff new each and every time, or maybe I knew it and forgot about it. I don't know. So I assume that it's blood. Just, that's an assumption. That's a leap I'm making for me, not for you. I'm just saying, I think that there's blood there, because they really wanted him in that interview. They really wanted him to acknowledge that he put that blanket in the car. There's a reason.
Something to tell you. She's got kids.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Why do you think we're here?
Okay, look, I don't know nothing.
Well,
not even something's insignificant.
Clear that up for me, what you just, because I said, why would you be less than candid with me or the other interview in the grand jury? And you said, why would that be? Because I was irritated. Okay.
Well, being irritated and being put in front of 12 people and accused of stuff like this, I mean, you're going to forget things and not be able to speak as well as you normally would. I mean, there's more to it than you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's exactly what I'm asking.
Some of those things you can't explain. I'm not going to sit here and try to explain.
Take your time to relax. Look, as I said, I'm sitting here. I'm here at work.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. He is in the middle of a homicide investigation. He's in the middle of a homicide investigation, and he is unwilling to literally take the time to explain it. They're accusing him of being involved in a murder. And this officer is giving him an opportunity to explain himself, and he does not even want to go in it. He doesn't want to do it. He said it's going to be too difficult. And this officer saying, I've got time. I get it's difficult, but let's work through this. So he's getting upset that this guy is accusing him. This guy's giving him every opportunity to come clean. He's already showed his hand. He's already showed his receipts to Nick. And Nick is disputing him, but he's not explaining. He's just saying he didn't do it. He knows nothing. But he's not really providing any receipts to prove. So the only person that's provided receipts so far is the accused, or the accuser. Right? He said, hey, I think you did it. This is why. He's saying, no, I didn't. Well, how didn't you do it? I'm showing you what I got. Well, I just didn't do it. Well, explain it to me. Well, I can't. Why can't you? Because it's stuff you can't explain. Well, I got time. I don't want to explain it. That's how we're doing this.
I don't know.
Put yourself in my seat for just a second.
Okay.
And I'm talking to someone who's a family member, essentially, is missing and possibly dead. And you're sitting here, and that individual, who you know nothing about, never met before today, right? But you've seen some interviews where you haven't been completely truthful about things. Not just kind of, haven't been completely truthful about a couple.
I've been 100% truthful.
Listen to what I'm saying.
You listen to what I'm saying. I've been 100% truthful.
Why are you yelling at me?
You're going to go back.
Well, because you tell me I'm lying, and I know I'm not. I know the truth. And And I've been 100%
You don't know
honest
the truth.
with you, the grand jury, and everybody else I've
No,
spoken
you
with.
haven't. Here's what I'm getting. We just said.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
I most definitely have. And if you don't want to believe it, that's your issue. It's not mine.
It's not just me. I showed you.
Dude, I don't give a goddamn what your fucking computer said. Okay?
I think you do.
I'm telling you that I have been 100% honest with you.
Is this how you act? Does this act this way towards Crystal?
When somebody, is this how I act toward Crystal? I act toward people that accuse me of lying when I'm not lying.
Did she
That's
accuse
how
you
I
of
act.
lying?
No, I didn't know Crystal.
Then why are you getting slammed?
Because you're calling me a fucking liar.
No,
That's
I'm
why.
just calling you a liar. I'm
Okay?
not cussed you.
I don't like it when people call me a liar. I'm being 100% truthful with you.
There's only the truth and not what you
Dude,
said.
why can't you? I'm being truthful.
Look,
Okay.
We're not 2-year-olds, all right?
Okay.
So it's not, yes, I am, no, I'm not. Yes, I am, no, I'm not. We're talking, look, I've been nothing but professional with you and trying to help you in this
Okay.
situation.
Other than calling me a liar when I'm not.
Look, if the right thing to do is to tell you you're not being truthful, then I'm going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Look, I don't care. Little lies, big lies, they're all the same in terms of the polygraph.
I haven't told you any lies.
That's not entirely true.
It is 100% true.
Then help me to figure this out.
Okay.
What you just told me a moment ago, maybe explain it to me so that maybe I misunderstood what you're telling me. But you told me because you were irritated and there's all kinds of things that I don't know about, whatever, that I can't understand why you would say the things you said. That's what you
Dude,
told
it's
me.
just been an experience.
Well,
all this is going on.
but
You
that's
got
what I'm
guys showing
asking
up over at my house taking cars. I mean, this is crazy.
Okay, but that's what I'm asking about. Are we talking about because of things that have been going on since it's happened, or are you talking about there's things that have gone on over time that I'm not understanding?
No, I'm talking about recently.
Okay, well, how am I supposed to know that? If you don't
Yeah,
tell
I
me
mean,
that?
it's the simple stuff, man. I mean, I have been 100% honest with you, and surely God, you can understand. My house, my family out there taking cars. The neighbors are watching. Man, it's been screwed up.
Of course I can understand.
Okay,
But I wasn't there. How do I know all this?
Well, man, you just assume. I mean, if you were a patrol officer, you got your chief showing up, and I mean, dude, that's crazy. Who the hell?
Professional.
I mean, listen, they come up with all these lies about, well, there's bodily fluid in your car, there's blood. There is no way in hell there is any blood in that car.
I have no idea.
Everybody told me, I had to speak with the state police. That's the first thing they said. Grand jury. I mean, it's crazy.
But I'm not them, right?
Okay, but I'm just saying this is crazy.
It may be. All I'm saying, look, I'm not vouching for all this stuff. The evidence will speak for itself, right?
Sure.
So it really doesn't matter what people want to say or not. The evidence that I've told you about that I can demonstrate are things that we already do have back that I can show. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think they're anything that paint you in a horrible light. They show discrepancies with what you've said. Well, there may be a very clear reason for that.
There is.
Well, that's all I'm saying. I'm not. Look, when I accuse you of lying over here, okay, and lie is a bad one. Nobody wants to hear a lie. We've all lied in our lives. I don't care who you are. I have, no doubt about it. We all have. Nobody wants to hear that. But somebody who's telling a lie, it's the same thing as saying they're not being completely truthful, right? Okay, that's a little prettier way of saying it, but it's the same thing. I'm not saying you're so dishonest, you're so vision, but that's not what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is today with you, I have been 100% honest, and I don't know nothing about it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and I'm saying that that's not entirely true, but it could be.
I mean,
but listen to what I'm saying here, okay? You want to get mad and defense about it, hear what I'm saying, okay?
Go ahead.
Because I'm truthful. I'm going to be completely truthful, as I have been. Person would fail a polygraph on the questions that I asked you on a spectrum of issues, whether it be, yeah, you were out there and watched her get shot and killed by somebody. And again, I'm making that up, all right? You would fail if that had happened and you told me you knew nothing about it, right? Obviously. On the far end of the spectrum, if there's something you know about in your mind that you haven't told me or other investigators, could be about as simple as you saw an argument one time, and again, I'm making it up. You saw an argument between Brooks and Crystal a year ago where she pushed him.
They've never been physical with one another.
I'm making it up. What I'm talking about is the bigger picture is you would fail a polygraph on something that simple or something that dramatic. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It could be anything in between. I'm not assuming it's a worst case. In fact, I'm assuming it's something you just haven't got off your chest with me or someone else. That's all I'm saying. Is it a little more clear what I'm talking about?
It is, but there's nothing on my chest.
Well, but here's the thing, is I think that there is.
Okay.
And again, I'm not assuming that it's something huge and dramatic. It may be. I can't tell you what this thing is going into your brain and telling you this is what you're seeing. That's not what I'm saying. All this does is tells me, do you, not me, do you feel you are being completely truthful or do you not? And it is telling me you do not feel you're being completely truthful. Well, that's okay. Your level of what's truthfulness may be a little different than mine. That's why I take the time to explain what I'm asking and why I'm asking it. So it's clear that when I ask that question, you can confidently say yes or no. Well, obviously, with those two questions in particular, about Crystal and about whether you're hiding any information, there's something that you weren't confident enough to say with 100% certainty. There's some other thing, and it may be a personal family issue, for all I know, that you feel, and frankly, I think it's probably something along those lines, that you feel, well, man, if I tell them that, they're going to think that he's just evil, or he did something terrible. I'm not going to think.
If anything stands out in my mind, I'll tell you.
Well, then what, looking back at, when you think about this investigation, and not from other investigators else, the investigation and what happened to Crystal and how that's affecting your brother and his child. With all this, when you sit at home at night and laying in bed and you think about what's your biggest concern and looking back, because we all do. We all are analytical in law enforcement. We think about everything that's ever happened, right? And you start assessing this. You may not discuss it with everybody else. I get that. People handle emotions in different ways, especially in traumatic circumstances. I know I do. I'm an internal person. But I guarantee you that means I think about it inside more than I'm talking about it to other people. What I'm saying is, when you're sitting there at night, you're thinking about it. Maybe you talked to Brooks, but maybe you didn't. What is it? Where does your mind focus on something that you look back at and go, man, maybe that's something that I should have talked to Brooks about, or maybe that's something that might have had something to do with it. Where do you focus? These are just suspicions in your mind, right? But what do you think about? That's what cops do. That's what we do. Where does your mind land at when you think about those?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know Crystal. I didn't know Crystal. I don't really know my neighbor. I know that's sad.
I get it.
I mean, I just wasn't around them. I never really saw them argue anything. If they did it away from me. I don't.
Well, that's fine. And if they did argue in front of you, I don't care. I mean, people argue. So what? My point is, if there's things, anyone along that nature, or even a comment that Brooks has made before or after she went missing, that may cause you some pause in your mind, that may be enough potentially to cause you to have an issue on the polygraph. It's just, I can't put words, I don't know what you know. I only know, do you believe you're being truthful? And you don't feel you're being 100% truthful, as you said. Maybe you're being 99 now, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if I did, I'd tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I can't just make something up, and throw it at you.
That's why I'm asking you just to tell me the truth and what you see. The way this works, suspicions don't do anything. Wondering, thinking, oh gosh, I don't know, what could it be that has nothing to do with it. You only respond in the way you do, your physiological signature of somebody who's thinking about this specific thing, which means in your mind, and again, I have no idea what that thing is. It could be something horrible, it could be something very explainable, but only you know what that is. And that's what I'm getting at, is trying to get you to just say, this is the thing that I was thinking about, I had some concerns about. And at that point, I'm going to, okay, well, that probably explains what I'm seeing here. And again, it's not going to be a big deal. It's what we do. When people initially say, I don't know nothing about nothing, and it turns out as they're sitting later tonight, they go, okay, I do know a little bit about something, but it's probably not important, but I've told you I don't know anything, so if I tell you this, you're going to think I'm lying to you. That's not the case.
Man, nothing stands out. I mean, I wish I could come up with something, but I can't.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
I mean, I've been 100% truthful with you. I mean, I can't think of any examples. They never gotten, I don't think Brooks would have ever got physical with her. I really didn't see them argue. I mean, I ain't got nothing to give you.
Well, and I'm glad to say it, because everything from what little I've talked to people about Brooks in particular, about you too, there's not a history of violence and that kind of stuff. Been no domestic accusations, nothing like that. Which means that whatever happened here was likely, I hate to use the word accident, but it was, I say, unintended, because people can get pushed and shoved, and I don't know. I mean, you've seen her. How big is she? She's not real big, is she?
maybe 150 pounds or something.
Yeah, well, to me, that's big, but he's bigger than she is.
Yeah.
Okay. And men being men, women, they get hot-headed and they start pushing and shoving and screaming and throwing tantrums and all that stuff. Not all, I hate to throw a blanket, but a lot do. And all I'm saying is, in those situations, if it's a situation where she got mad and she pushed or shoved and he defended, he's not going to hit a woman. It could be as simple as, in the course of that, she fell and hit her head on something. For all I know, again, I'm making up, I don't know, but in those circumstances, that's a real easy answer to what's occurred here. Again, we're going to find it. We're going to know exactly what happened.
Sure, no doubt.
But the time to hear about those things, what actually happened out there, before we get to that.
I wish I could lead you there, but I can't. I've got nothing for you.
Okay.
I don't know where she's at. We didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm telling you that's the way it is. I mean, I don't know, if you watch the grand jury testimony or my interview with the state police, I mean, sometimes I don't speak well. Like a lot of times when I go to court, I've got my report in front of me. I read word for word. I just don't remember all that stuff. And then you put 12 people in front of me, they start asking you a bunch of silly questions.
Yeah,
I mean, stuff just blanks out. I mean, I don't respond well to that.
I get that. I don't like speaking in front of groups, period. Even 12 people in here. I hate testifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we got to do. But I'm also a student of people. That's what my master's degree is. So when I watch the interviews, I don't just listen, but I listen to what's being said, how it's being said, statement analysis, kinesics, physiology, what people are doing in the room. And you could turn off the sound in some of those interviews and see spots where an objective interviewer would point and go, "You're not being completely truthful right there." Well, I did leave the sound on, so I listened to some of those spots. Again, I don't think they're huge critical issues, and it may be as simple as what you said earlier, that because of irritation and accusations, you just decided you're not going to tell people about whatever, fill in the blank.
Well, it's not that I didn't tell them. It's just that, a lot of that stuff I didn't remember, and I'm not going to start making stuff up or tweak it in any way.
Yeah.
I'll just straight up tell you, I don't remember. If I don't, I'm not going to make something up.
Absolutely, and I get that. And I'm not, I wouldn't want you to say something that you didn't know. I mean, if you do that, you're lying by definition.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is, we all have politicians. Hillary Clinton is a prime example, right? And I'm older than you, but looking back in the Whitewater days, way back when she was interviewed, her husband was interviewed. So we use those as studies in interview interrogation.
All that.
And what do they say more often than any other? What's the phrase they use?
I don't know. I'm not up to date.
That's actually what they say, but they say I don't recall.
Oh, I see.
And when it's clear that they do. And so, and I'm not saying that's not the case with you, but when you hear I don't recall, it tends to raise flags with people that are investigatively asking questions, right? The truth may be you don't recall, but that's certainly a viable option. But when you couple those statements with all the other things going on in the room, and then when in some of those instances, not all, but there were a few, where we can physically say, well, no, but he just said, when you didn't say I don't recall, you said I was here or I was not there. And they asked you several times, were you ever there? You said no. And we can show, well, yeah, but here's the evidence that shows you were there.
If you're talking about the vehicles in the driveway, then they harped on that and harped on
I'm not
it.
talking about
I mean, they must have asked that question 10 times. I mean,
I'm not
we may have been, I don't know.
That's not what I'm talking
Okay.
Yeah, as far as that, I think at the end of the day, you were, you changed your answers up somewhat to be as truthful as I think you could be.
To be as truthful as he can be. Just, I don't know. I mean, he's very combative now. He was very calm, cool, and collective, cool as a cucumber going into that interrogation. He was saying, he was denying, right? And so that this FBI agent started showing him and his polygraph and started showing him his guilt assessment. I don't know. There's another report that is actually admissible in a court of law. Who knew? This is the first. I mean, we learn together. So very, there in this FBI agent hasn't raised his voice one time. Just keeps talking to him. Very calm, very cool, very collected. Very, he's just he hasn't gone monotone or anything like that. But he's just having a conversation, like having a cup of coffee with a friend and talking to them. Kind of like this, and saying, this just doesn't really look right. There's something, there's something not right here. And, can you explain this? It's too difficult. It's hard. He was trying to say, basically, this officer didn't understand So the officer's giving him an opportunity to explain it, to make him understand. And he says it's going to take too long. He's got nothing but time. He's really there to resolve the problem. If this guy has nothing to do with it, that officer wants to get him on his way. Okay, let's be honest, right? I mean, he's giving him literally every opportunity to come clean and answer some of these, these major questions of in and around the disappearance of Crystal. And he can't do it. And then when he's being challenged on the little bit of information or answers he is providing, he gets upset. But he doesn't know this woman. I just find that totally bizarre that this man does not know a woman that has been with his brother for 3 years, has a child with this brother, and he and his brother are out at the family farm 3 to 4 times a week together. But yet he doesn't talk to them. This whole story doesn't make sense. And then we heard the officer challenging him again, like, we can prove that you were places you said you weren't. It really did. It made me stop the video when we heard that, because he's telling him, so he was at places that he was telling law enforcement he was not. Why was he at those places? And why is he lying to law enforcement about him not being there? This is timeline issues. I wonder if any of these places might have been some of the places that were searched by law enforcement. What places was he at that he told law enforcement he was not? Was he out at that farm on July 3rd? I wonder. I don't know.
When you said, no, I don't think we were there, and I don't think, and ultimately we could have been, well, we can show whether you were or weren't there. I mean, that's simple. So whether you recall or not, you were. So I don't care. But what I'm talking about are other times that I haven't given you the evidence on here today. I've asked you questions about where you were or where you were not, and you were definitive. It wasn't, well, I don't think it was. I couldn't have been. It was no, absolutely not. Okay. Well, and again, it's not a huge issue in the grand scheme of things in terms of you being in a certain spot or not being there. But if I already know the answer to that, the truth, the ground truth, as we say in polygraph, and you're saying something other than what I know I can prove, it raises questions in my mind.
That's not happening.
But it is my point.
Okay, whatever.
It is. My point is that.
I mean, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you've heard, but I'm just telling you, I didn't do it. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know anything about it. My brother, and I can tell you, I know him well enough. He didn't do it. It's just the way it is. I mean,
have you ever known somebody that you said wouldn't do something, and it turns out they did?
Yes,
I'm
and yes.
It wasn't my brother.
That's right. So you're choosing to believe.
Because I know him real well.
I understand.
Yes,
Well, look,
yes, I am.
And if it's my brother, I'm gonna feel the same way.
Okay.
My point being is just because you feel that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel 100%. Not 96, not 98. I mean, there's just no. This is crazy. He would not have done that.
But what you're saying is you believe it at the end of the day.
Well, it's not that I believe him because I haven't questioned him about it. You know, I haven't. Because I know him well enough, I don't have to ask him that question.
I'm sorry. I don't believe that. Okay, let me tell you something. If it was my dear sweet mother, okay? If it was my dear sweet mother, the very first question I'd ask my dear sweet mother, Mama Bullhorn, is, what in the F is going on? She'd probably say, I don't know. Well, did you do it? My sweet mom. If she was arrested tomorrow, okay, or she was questioned by law enforcement tomorrow that Joe Plumber down the road, disappeared, and they think my mom had a hand in it. She's down there in the that'd be literally like one of the very first questions I would ask my own mother. Now, do I think my mother could ever be capable of this? Of course not. But just me, I know that who doesn't ask? Who doesn't even talk about it? Who acts like it didn't exist? That to me is odd behavior. The fact that he's saying, look, he's saying that this girl disappeared, okay? That he didn't really know her. Okay, so we'll give you that. Okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I hate giving people benefit of the doubt, right? I hate it. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he really didn't know her, okay? That he really didn't have a good relationship with her. Okay, fine. But he knew that she was dating his brother. He knew she had a kid with his brother. Just those two things alone, as soon as this man found out that she was missing, you cannot tell me that he didn't call his brother to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. What are you going to do now with your son? What can I do to help? He didn't call. He discussed nothing about the case. Nothing at all. Hasn't had a conversation related to Crystal at all. I don't understand how that is possible. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I had a dysfunctional family. I've got to be honest with you. I've had a dysfunctional family. We talk about a lot of my life and stuff. It's therapy for me at times, right? And so maybe I'm just confused because, even in my crazy life, I would think that if somebody that was dating one of my sisters came up missing, I would naturally want to go comfort them and find out what happened. Just their family. So I don't get this whole, I don't know, we don't talk about it, we just kind of act like ostriches with our head in the sand. That to me is almost suspect behavior. Like, not to open your mouth or talk about it, because normal people that have nothing to hide would be actually talking about it.
Well, I guess personally is this, I don't think I would ask my brother if he did it or didn't either. I don't think I would.
I would.
But what I would do as an investigator is use a police officer. If she's missing and you believe you have anything to do with it,
Good morning.
I would investigate and want to question him and say, look, what do you think happened here? How do we find her? How do we get her back? What do you want me to do about this? That kind of thing. Those are conversations I had with my family, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why you haven't had those kinds of conversations. Or maybe you have.
We've talked briefly about it.
Well, talk to me a little bit about those conversations.
I mean, I don't really remember.
I was just trying to pause it to say, oh, now you briefly talked to him about it. And then right as I'm pushing the pause button, he says, well, I really don't. The know nothing guy, right? I keep forgetting we're talking to the know nothing guy. It knows nothing, sees nothing, he's just, he's an officer, but he doesn't see anything. He doesn't hear anything. Okay.
We spoke very little about it. I'm not investigating it. I mean, a lot of people have asked why we're not out there looking with their family members jumping out in the road giving us. I'm not going to get out in the woods and have somebody end up threatening me or something. Then I've got to do something silly.
But what I'm asking is, you're not under oath here or anything. I'm not asking you to remember specifically what I'm just talking in generalities. Tell me about, were the conversations like what I just described? Hey, what's going on? What do you think happened? How can I help?
I mean, I don't remember those. I mean, I'm not going to start making stuff up, and I'm just not going to do it.
Let me ask this then: if you're me here, maybe reasons, would it not strike you extremely odd that
I just think things get screwed up. I'm not going there. I mean,
wouldn't you want to help him find her?
Of course, I want to help find her. I want her to walk in. I want her to walk in his door right now. Clear this whole mess up.
Absolutely. But for that point, that's what I'm saying. Didn't you ask him, hey, what can I do to help?
I mean, we really haven't been around a lot, around each other a lot, We've been out there to the farm a few times. Both of us are just incredibly busy. I didn't know Crystal, He's dealing with this. I'm not gonna stress him out about it.
Yeah, but aren't you gonna help?
Of course I want to help, but
That's what I'm getting at.
But what can we do,
That's what you ask him. What can I do?
There's nothing we can do,
She's just gone.
I mean, hopefully, like I said, she'll show up any minute. And if
See, there's nothing we can do. He already told. He just told. People don't realize he just told on himself right there. There's nothing we can do. As if they know the end result here.
If not, obviously you guys are going to find her at some point. Find out how she was killed. Is there evidence under her fingernails? All this stuff, and it's not going to point toward him or me.
How she was killed. How did we get here? This is before anybody was charged with the crime. From my understanding, this we'll have to go back. I'll check the date of this polygraph in just a second. This interview, if they have the information in the video, but he just said, when you find her dead or something, you'll get I don't.
Who would it point to?
How the hell would I know that?
That's what I'm asking you.
I'm not investigating the crime. I don't know.
Do you have any suspicions of anybody?
I do not. I didn't hang around Crystal. I don't know her husband. I don't know her ex-husband. I don't know those people. If I had anything to throw out at
3 years, a nephew, and he doesn't know Crystal. I just find that hard to believe. I don't know. I just find it hard to believe. I mean, if they weren't living together, I guess it would be, I could understand it a little bit better, but I'm understanding they lived together. How do you not know the person that your brother, that you're close enough with to know that he didn't kill her, but not close enough with to know who he's been seeing for the last 3 years and had a baby 2 years prior to? And living together, I just don't get how he cannot know this woman. I just don't get it. Was they're saying there was no major problems in the family. So how can you have a close relationship but not a close enough relationship where you don't know the significant other of your brother that you see 3 to 4 times a week? That is unbelievable for me. Completely unbelievable. I just don't believe it. Who believes that statement? Who believes Nick doesn't really know Crystal? If you believe Nick and he does not know, he truly does not know who Crystal is, put a 1 in the chat. If you think he's liar, pants on fire, put a 2 in the chat. And I'll take flames. I'll take flames in 2's place as well.
I'd do it.
Would you?
Most definitely.
What about other investigators?
What about them?
Would you tell them?
I would tell other investigators. I don't too much care for John Snow, but the rest of them, I don't have a problem with them.
Okay.
State police, Mike Kaminsky's a good guy. Ed Madley's a good guy.
You met? I don't know. Is it Detective Snow? Is there?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know him other than.
He's just admitted. He's openly admitted that he lies in court. I just can't deal with a guy like that.
Okay. Did he admit that to you or something?
He admitted it to a bunch of us over in the squad room. There was half a dozen of us over there. Okay. I'm not going to get between a guy like that and my brother. I mean, I know he had nothing to do with it, but I don't want things to get screwed up either.
Well, I agree.
I want this done right.
I think we all do. Would there be a reason that Brooks would say that he did discuss asking you for any help on this matter?
No, there's no way he said that. No reason, no way, 100% not.
Okay. I know they asked you about it, but I know when he was being interviewed, you called and basically Harold?
Yeah, he was with
Told him to
John
do that.
Snow. He was with John Snow
Oh,
for
is that right?
hours. Yes. Yes, I called up there. Brooks is a really cooperative guy. He's honest. You know, and I just basically, I didn't tell him to leave. I told him, I said, you go ahead and finish up your, he was given a narrative or whatever, a statement.
Narrative again.
I said, it's fine to give that. I said, say what you mean what you say. You know, I asked him, I said, are they screwing you around? They asked you the same questions, a bunch of different ways. Because he's been up there for hours. This wasn't no 1 or 2 hours. He may have been up there like 3 hours or 4 hours. It'd been a while. And I figured John was screwing him around. And I just wanted to find out what was going on up there. So that's all that was about. If they want to read more into it, that's up to them, you know?
I'm just asking you just because I.
Yeah, he was with John Snow, period.
Was that the same interview when Ryan from State Police was there too?
I don't have any idea if Ryan was here. I know Ryan and another guy interviewed me, but I don't think that the state police have interviewed Brooks. There was a bigger guy. He was probably about, I don't know, blonde hair, short, kind of a heavier set guy, maybe about my height, 250, 240, something like that. And then there was Ryan Johnson was with him. So.
Okay. You ever seen Brooks lose his temper?
Hardly ever.
Hardly ever. What about in those rare occasions when he did?
I tell you, I can't even think of an example where he's just went off the, you know, I mean, every once in a while he.
I'm sorry. I believe everybody has lost their cool. Now, losing their cool is different for every single person. This man is asking him to describe what it's like for Brooks to lose his cool. Everybody loses their cool differently. Like some people, when they lose their cool, they have to go step away. They have to step away. They've got to breathe. You know, other people, they may take something and throw it across the room. I can tell you when I'm working on a car, like you don't want to be around me when I'm working on a car because everything fights me. And there's just a time when I'm up to here and I throw my tools. Okay. That's how I deal with it. I throw my tools. I'm not throwing it at anybody. You know, I just want to make sure that's clear before there's stories, rumors going around. You know, usually I'm out there by myself working. So when I throw it, I'm usually throwing it at the ground, cussing at the damn tool or cussing at the cut on my hand that I just got from, you know, using the tool. So that's just how I deal. But everybody deals with their frustration a different way. Some people may just be like, well, it is what it is. We have Aunt Millie, right? We have Aunt Millie. I have a dear friend. I love her to death. I love her to death. We'll just call her S. Okay. We'll call her S. And she's a political friend and God bless her. This lady is the she is the calmest person I have ever met. And it's hard because she tells me these stories about her, you know, like one time, I don't want to get into her personal stuff. I mean, you don't know who she is, but it was a husband situation where she wanted to kill him, right? We've all had those moments, but those were back in her, you know, much younger. She's a much older lady now, but she's just so dear and sweet. And it's funny because you don't see that side in her. And I got to tell you, she is a very, very genuine woman.
He may, you know, mess up on a house or something like that, you know, but I mean, Brooks just, he's a pretty calm, laid back dude. He's not, you know, I mean, he doesn't take medication. He is level-headed. I mean, he keeps.
But what I forgot what I kind of lost track what I was just in the process of saying. But just level-headed, cool as a cucumber, anything that goes. Aunt Millie, you know, just, well, it is what it is, right? And then you've got the ones that are just overboard and just go into screaming temper tantrums, tearing doors off the hinges. I've heard of those people before. You know, he's trying to gauge this man Brooks's frustration level. Like, what kind of frustration does he get into? And he won't tell him. I find that odd. Like, you know, it's like if you stub your toe, how do you react? Do you say, you know, ow, or do you just go on a 30-minute rampage, jumping up and down, cussing up a storm, blaming every person that you stubbed your own damn toe? You know, what kind of frustration are you? And he won't give it to him. That's what that's what I was trying to finish.
He keeps about 100 rental property. He builds 8 or 10 houses all the time. I mean, he's just
younger than you.
He's younger than me.
He's kind of look up to you.
I think a lot of times Brooks thinks he's over me, you know? I mean, it just depends. I
Is
mean,
he a leader or a follower?
I think both of us somewhat are leaders.
Uh-huh, yeah.
What about when the two of you are together? Who's the leader? Not what both of you, realistically.
Mission failed. We're gonna mix talk.
I don't want to put him down.
That tells me that makes you the leader, so I understand. What else haven't we talked about that might clear this up?
If I knew, I'd tell you.
Would it?
Yes.
He's got a smirk on his
If
face.
there was something that you knew would be helpful, but you felt you were not comfortable telling me or someone else, would you look in the eye and say, there's some other stuff, but I prefer not to.
Diabetes.
You want to take us here and then just call you?
No, you mean right now as I'm talking.
Diabetes. We'll
If
have
there
to
are
use.
other things that you do know about.
Hey,
that
Reggie.
You're just simply not
Hey,
comfortable
lady.
talking to me
Nice to
about.
see
Would you
ya.
look me in the eyes now and tell me there's some other things, but I would just assume you don't want to.
Yeah, I'd tell you that. I'd straight up tell you that.
And are there some other things you just do not discuss with me?
No.
Anything else I have not asked you about today that in any way could be helpful?
No.
Think I've treated you fairly today?
I think you have.
I've been professional with you?
Yes, sir.
Have you yelled or screamed or cussed at you?
No.
Have you yelled or screamed or cussed at me?
A little bit.
And I understand that, okay?
Okay.
We'll step back out, we'll grab Brian here, and I'm assuming we'll get you back to work here.
Sounds good to me.
All right, appreciate you coming in.
All right.
Well, I like Reggie's comment. Diabetes. Infected with diabetes. Diabetes. I also wanted to say, Samantha, thank you very much. We've got our first digital scanner. This is for our police stuff. So I now have a portable one. I can now go take this anywhere. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is absolutely needed. This will go everywhere with me. So I do appreciate the contribution to this channel. It will definitely be used. So God bless you, Samantha, for that. And I got that yesterday, and I had it here, and I keep forgetting to turn around because I don't have my coffee pot anymore. You know, well, I shouldn't say coffee pot anymore. I'm just getting more addicted to the whole K-cup. You know, it's just so convenient. It's hard, but don't forget. And if you want to buy me coffee, this is just out there. Everybody's always asking me, can I buy you a cup of Joe? I put it on the wish list, on the Amazon wish list. I sure did. So if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, consider buying me 12. Greedy Betty. Greedy Betty. Where's my laugh? There we go. I didn't want to look for the other one. I like the other laugh better though. And I have this sad music for Nick. If we're going to be going back through Brooks' interview, his interrogation, and you'll see a person that is putting on the appearance of willingness to help, to act like they're willing to help. He's putting on the facade. You know, he's trying to fake it until he makes it, if you know what I mean. You can see that with Brooks's interrogation. When you get over here to his brother, Nick, he is willfully, and everybody knows, you can see he is absolutely not cooperating. He does not want to cooperate with the investigation. He will not give anybody any answers. He won't tell them yes or no. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know this person. He doesn't know that person. He wants nothing to do with this. And every time they challenge him on actual facts, such as his trunk lighting up like a Smurf, let's face it, they're not going to be telling him his trunk lights up as a Smurf, like a Smurf, if it doesn't light up like a Smurf. It's an easy test to do. They're not going to add something because they'll know that he knows that there was nothing transported in there. This guy is willfully blocking this. I am absolutely 100% convinced this man helped move her somehow. I believe him and his brother. I honestly, I don't know why I'm getting the vibe, and it's just my personal opinion, but I have a funny feeling because that officer specifically said, "We know you were places you said you were not." And I keep wondering if he went over to his mom's house the night that Crystal disappeared. Because I'm telling you, why was there a blanket in his vehicle, and why in the trunk? And why was the trunk glowing blue when they put, the whatever? I can't think right now. It's Sunday. The luminol on it, right? They put luminol on it. As you know, if bodily fluid is present, it fluoresces in a certain light, and it fluoresces blue. And they said the trunk looked like a Smurf. That's a lot of blue. That's a lot of blue. So I'm absolutely convinced that Brooks had a hand. But you know what? This was so long ago, though. It almost doesn't make sense because it was so long ago. Where's the test results? Whose bodily fluids was that back there? Are we going to find out it was clean? Because we know the best cleaning agent out there, but it would have probably removed a lot of the DNA would have been a peroxide. We looked into peroxide-based cleaning solutions as part of our research for Brian Koberger because we heard he cleaned his car, but everybody was talking about he cleaned his car with bleach. And I'm thinking no person in their right mind is cleaning their car with bleach. You would have evidence of bleach literally all over it. So you'd be using a solution that you can clean your car that removes DNA, but doesn't bleach, that doesn't stain anything. And the best product for that is a peroxide-based product because peroxide, as we learned, breaks down the actual DNA molecule. So it literally does destroy DNA. And the reason why we're talking about that is because a criminology major or somebody that's in crime scene, anything related to crime scene or learning about crime scene and crime scene cleanup would probably learn about peroxide or other types of solvents that do break down the actual DNA and blood cells of the blood. So the cells of the blood. So, we were learning that. I knew it removed it, but I didn't know to what degree. And we learned that peroxide actually literally destroys DNA. Nick isn't a very smart cop. Why would he drive around with a blanket full of bloody body fluid? Maybe it was one of those things where it was out of sight, out of mind. He didn't think of but you're right. But you got to remember, these are backwood law enforcement. These were backwood law enforcement. You know what else I forgot and I didn't pick up on, and I picked up on early this morning, but I forgot until just now to remind you. Remember how I said, we were talking about Jason Ellis last night, and I said that I found it odd that right after Jason Ellis was murdered, that Brooks Houck, which has never been qualified as any type of law enforcement agent, or from my understanding has never worked for any law enforcement agent, was actually making a bid and running for sheriff in 2014. Remember, Jason was killed in 2013. He was 2014, right? So I thought that was a little odd. We also didn't realize that Nick's business, he said he closed his business. Remember, he said that he closed his business out when they were talking about the property names and whatnot. He lost his business in 2014 as well. So I find that those things to be odd. And then, but if we were to go on the wild conspiracy theory, and I'm going to call it that for now because we really don't have anything to corroborate the information, would be the mafia, the organized crime, mafia mom type of situation there. And if that was the case, then who's to say that Nick wasn't planted in that police station to eventually become the chief or the sheriff or something of that community? But he just didn't, like, he just doesn't seem like he's the go-getter like the rest of the family. The rest of the family seems like, you know, ice cold go-getters. He doesn't, he kind of seems like the putz of the family. No offense. I mean, I'm just, you know, that's just my, he seems like the putz, you know? I don't know what your analysis of it is. I'm probably getting people are, but he's being mean. I don't know. But I wanted you guys to hear this. We're going to close out. We're getting very close. Oh, this is 43 minutes. So we'll save this for later. What we're going to go into is now that you know, Brooke is under fire. This is still all back in the past, like many years ago, that we're watching unfold right here. This is back like 2015. We're going to be going into the mayor's comments and press conference related to Nick's involvement and stuff like that. So we're not done yet. This, like I said, this case is starting to grab my attention because it's got so many twists and turns in it. And I'm surprised that a lot more people aren't following this particular case because it has so many twists and turns in it. And like a cop is involved. Like, this is nuts. This is absolutely a nutty, bizarre, wild, intriguing case. And we're going to keep following it because it's getting crazier. It's getting crazier. So we're going to go to church. Church is starting in 30 minutes, folks. Church is starting in 30 minutes. So for the ones that would like to join us for church, please come over and join us for church. And we'll probably have another live sometime later today. So God bless each and every one of you. Go make it a great day. Go rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. We say no to bullying on the Bullhorn Betty channel. God bless.